Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, they tell you what they know.
Do it for Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. Hey, do it for Deuce and Mo. When it comes to the Kings, it's my favorite show. Do it for Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. Hey, do it for Deuce and Mo. When it comes to the Kings, big hopes and dreams as we cover our kings. Never cover the kingdom, but we loving our kings. And we covered your prayers as we doing our thing. Big Deuce with the pod, Lil Mo on the screen. Solo or together, still do it for team. Never switch up for $1 or revenue stream. So we always got each other, balance out the beam. Deuce and Mo, and that's the end of the thing. So do it for Deuce and Mo.
We are live!
Do it for Deuce and Mo.
Happy NBA trade deadline day. We are less than 3 hours away from the end of the deadline. What will go down here today? Oh, it's already been jam-packed. We've seen like 5 deals this morning. How are we doing?
What up, Deuce?
Hey, what's up, Mo?
Hey, Morgan.
Let's go.
No. We don't hit.
I'm rooting for y'all.
We do on trade deadline day. Give me a little.
No.
Let's go.
Let's go, Kane.
Woo! It's one of the more entertaining days of the year. You've got NBA free agency in July. You got the trade deadline today. We've seen rumors galore, bullshit being thrown out everywhere, and now the real deals happen. What's fascinating is we all get sucked up into these deals, right? All these rumors. Oh, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. I don't think any of the deals today were actually rumored.
One, I don't think they were rumored. Two, if anyone could have predicted that any of these trades were going to happen, you're a goddamn sidekick.
The Kings have not made a move at this point, but people around them have. Let's give you a quick rundown on what has happened this morning, including a former King on the move, Buddy Hield. Buddy Love going to the city of brotherly love, as he has been traded to the Sixers today in exchange for Marcus Morris. Cork Moz, who's finally gotten his wish to get moved, in 3 second-round picks. That's not all today. Morgan Kelly Olynyk, he was a name that was brought up. A lot of contending teams, maybe fringe contenders looking at him. Well, he has been shipped along with Ochai Abaji to the Toronto Raptors. What? Yes. Kelly Olynyk, of course, Canadian, goes to the Raptors for Kyra Lewis, Otto Porter, and a 2024 first-round pick that at this point is projected to be the 29th pick in the draft, so near the end of the first round. Oklahoma City, what are they going to do today? Well, it looks like they're closing in on a deal. There could be more moving parts with this one. Gordon Hayward leaving Charlotte, headed to OKC in a deal for Trey Mann and Bertans. New York, Morgan.
Oh, this is
New
is
York.
where-
And this is just a rundown, then we'll kind of go deal by deal.
Obviously.
The Knicks have been busy. The Knicks aren't playing around. They got Daniel House from the Sixers along with a second-round pick, still trying to figure out what the Sixers are getting in return. But then they made a big one with the Pistons, who coming off a win in Sacramento last night.
Big old win.
The Knicks get Bojan Bogdanovic along with former Knick Alec Burks in exchange for Malachi Flynn, Quentin Grimes, who I really like, Evan Fournier's big deal, 2 second-round picks, and Ryan Arcidiacono. So the Knicks keep adding. Think about the Knicks during this trade period. They get OG, they get Bojan, they get Burks and Daniel House. They look like a legit team in the Eastern Conference. So here we are at the start of the deadline. 5 trades done this morning. How many more will come? We will be reacting the whole time. When you hear that, you know something's going down. Let's buckle up and enjoy the ride. Oh, aren't you excited?
I'm so excited.
Are you someone tired from last night?
No.
Are you just waking up because the Kings lost to the Pistons, not feeling good?
Not
well, guess
at
what?
all.
I'm bringing the heat today.
I am too.
Because
but
this is my day.
This is what Deuce does. He's like a little kid, right? So he like goes onto the playground and he's like, oh shit, monkey bars. Oh shit, a slide. Oh,
yeah.
a swing. Oh my goodness, all the things. And like he does it all. Then I'm like, when do you crash?
Oh,
When
there's
do you
no
cra-
crashing. I crash at noon. And it's like, oh, the Kings didn't make a deal. Wait till 12:01. Maybe it's leaking out. Dude, sometimes it waits to leak at 12:15. We'll see if the Kings make a deal today. Sam Amick mentioning today that he thinks the Kings will make one. I know you talked to Mark Stein last night, and he says the Kings have been very active. Well, there's a lot of teams active. Now, can you close a deal? The Kings really quiet at the trade deadline last year when they made a trade in the days leading up to the deadline, acquiring Kessler Edwards. So really didn't do much last trade deadline. How's the chat doing? Appreciate you being here for the ride. If you have not done it yet, hit the thumbs up and subscribe. All it does is help our channel grow. We're going to be with you for the next few hours, just hanging out, enjoying the trade deadline. Be here, be locked in. The other thing, hitting the thumbs up just helps us grow. We're trying to chase 15,000 subs. Let's get it done today.
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 The little kid on the playground. Yeah. By the way,
Yeah.
you got a notification.
Okay. Okay. I was just reading it first. We were just talking about moments ago that there needs to be some additional compensation sent to Charlotte for the Gordon Hayward deal with OKC, and Misic is going in that deal too to Charlotte. So he was not there long. They brought him over, and he's being shipped. Let's start with this deal for the OKC Thunder. This, to me, is a fantastic deal.
Why?
Well, for Gordon Hayward's an expiring deal, $30 million expiring contract.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to give you more than Bertans did. He has the ability to knock down shots. He could play make. He's been around a little bit. And there's going to be draft compensation in that deal, too, just coming through. I like his experience. I like a guy who's got some size with a young team. He can go in there. He doesn't have to do too much. There's not a lot of pressure on him. He's just got to kind of fit in. The biggest question, and I'm sure you're about to say, is can he stay healthy? He's played 25 games this year, and the reality is he probably can't stay healthy.
Because you're absolutely right. He can give way more than Bertans, but he can't if he's not available, if he's not on the floor. And it's just his identity as a player, especially as he keeps getting older. But at the same time, I mean, look, you're kind of just taking that risk to make that tweak. And
what's the risk?
Exactly. I was going to say, what is even the risk if it's an expiring contract? So, it's not like Bertans was giving you what you needed to. So you lose him, you gain something that can hopefully push you a little bit more in this Western Conference this season without like like we just said, without really risking anything.
You're not going to keep him. He's got a $30 million expiring contract. It doesn't hurt you. This OKC team, in my opinion, doesn't have to do anything big this year. I think Presti made a little tweak here in understanding, like, not only can maybe Gordon Hayward help a little bit on the court if he ends up being there. You never know with Presti, buy him out, and then he's a free agent. But if he does go there, he can help them this year, potentially in a role. And then his contract just expires. And for them, that's a no-brainer. They still have all the draft picks that they can move to take a big swing, some cap space. This OKC team is set up for the future. They didn't need a big move. This team is good as currently constructed. They just need that playoff experience. Gordon
Hayward has played 25 games this season. The Kings just hit their 50th game last night. So everyone's kind of around that mark. And that's always just been the question with him. Either way, OKC making moves, doing things, good for them.
Yeah, so they were active today. The other one, Philly. Philly's in an interesting spot. I feel like there's just a huge question mark hanging over them with the Embiid situation. He comes back in April. Is he going to be 100% when he gets back? What's that look like? Are they able to hang on and win a playoff series? I don't know, but they end up getting Buddy Hield, and it seems like a player that Morey's been after forever. He heads to the Sixers. My first thought on this one is Nick Nurse may lose his mind dealing with Buddy Hield and what he does defensively. Like, okay. And, hey, he still gets to play with Tyrese.
God, he loves that. He already tweeted that joking. He's like, it's not so funny. It's not so funny.
Play with Halliburton, and then now he's playing with Tyrese Maxey's the joke.
Yeah, very.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what do you think that obviously they need more shooting. What do you think that does for them? Okay.
Foot pad.
Just doing a show.
Yeah, we're doing a show for hours, and I need my foot pad. You know what's interesting about Buddy is that no matter how you feel about him in Sacramento, I feel like he has grown in his game, right? Like there has been you've seen some growth. He's out there on the floor all the time. He still makes the Buddy mistakes, but he's been more aggressive putting the ball on the floor, and like his handles are a little bit better. So he's more confident going to the hole. So obviously he still is that same type of shooter, but now he can also be more of an explosive threat by putting the ball on the floor. Defensively, like you said, it's not going to be pretty. Look at the Indiana Pacers just as a whole, as a team, what their defense was. Even with Tyrese out along the perimeter, it wasn't good. And then you add Buddy. There's like zero resistance, zero pressure. So now he goes to Philly. I don't think his defensive flaws are going to be like helped just because he's on a better team. But for Philly, I go, okay, you're getting a better Buddy Hield right now.
Yeah, it's just, I guess everything just hinges on Embiid coming back and being healthy. And for the Pacers, look, I don't know. I think Buddy can be a frustrating player to play with, but Tyrese has said they've gotten really close after the trade. So I'm sure that this is not an easy day for that group. The Pacers have had crazy good vibes this year, and now they lose a guy that even if he frustrated them on the court, it seems like all of his teammates kind of like the guy, and so that's going to be a little chemistry dip for them.
I was thinking that same thing when I saw that trade this morning. I was like, oh, interesting. I felt like he was a piece of what they started really creating that was fun for them, that was bringing them joy. You see Toppin out there having fun. You just see Mathurin, all these guys playing with so much joy and really, I feel like playing for each other. So yeah, one guy out, obviously they had the big trade and moving Pascal there. So, and getting rid of Bruce Brown too. So yeah, we'll see what that actually does to the Pacers and if it even does anything for Philly.
And for them to keep Toppin and Hield this offseason, they would have to dip in the luxury tax, which obviously complicates things. They're not going to do that. So for Buddy Hield's expiring, you get a look, bring a guy like Morrison who brings some toughness, some vet experience, and you get 3 second-round picks out of it. Like, second-round picks are valuable in this league right now. You always throw them into deals. So I think overall for the Pacers, you get the move, even if it's a slight chemistry dip this year. It also allows Benedict Mathurin. Unleash this guy. He is good. He's really good. He's got some things to learn, right? But he plays hard all the time. He's a really good player.
Oh yeah, he's so fun to watch. I mean, that whole team, I feel like they play really hard, and they're still young, and that's why when you do look at like, wow, their defense, it really is not good. It is not there at times on the basketball floor. What they've been able to create on the offensive end can hopefully just keep leading them in the right direction to complete an entire game.
It's going to be really interesting to see what happens over the next couple of hours. One name you mentioned, Bruce Brown, it sounds like he'll be moved. Everyone just assumes that the Raptors are going to move his expiring deal, and you have to assume there's plenty of teams around the league who would love to pick him up. I should mention expiring, but I believe he has a team option for next year. So it could technically be expiring, or you can attack on an additional year there. Where is he going to go? Are the Bulls doing anything? Are the Bulls going to move Drummond? Are they moving Caruso? Are they moving DeMar DeRozan? They seem like they have a lot of guys that can move, or are they just going to stand pat and just keep going with this group? It's hard to figure out. The Kyle Kuzma situation, I don't know. That one, you hear mixed things. You hear, oh, the Kings could have interest. They don't have interest. No one really knows. Miles Bridges was another name that was mentioned, Morgan, that was getting a lot of attention around the league. Well, Brian Windhorst reporting this morning that Bridges has decided he won't approve any trades and he will remain with the Hornets the rest of the season. That's according to Rich Paul. Bridges will be an unrestricted free agent this summer. The Hornets will retain his bird rights. So, I don't know what was really happening there, and I know you're going, but apparently the Suns were really interested at one point.
Dude, he's been balling. I mean, he, like everyone, when you're a good player, everyone forgets, what a POS you are off the floor. So good for him.
Oh my God.
It just, it's sometimes like, but I get it. And that's why I was hoping we weren't going to have to talk much about him today, because it's like, it's tough because he has been playing good basketball, but it's like, I don't want to celebrate you. Barf. So glad we don't have to do much of that.
Yeah. So there's going to be a lot to dissect, hopefully. We have 5 deals so far this morning. We'll be hanging out the entire time. The Kings. There's a lot of eyeballs on the Kings. Of course, we're in Sacramento, so we're like, are they going to do something? We both made the point after last night, especially after that loss to the Pistons. You don't just make a deal because of one loss. The Pistons loss was more than just one loss, though, because it's a theme that we've seen multiple times. It just really got magnified against a 6-win Pistons team. Sacramento doesn't, in my opinion, have to make a big swing now. They can wait till the offseason to do that when they convey their first-round pick to Atlanta, and then they can have the flexibility to move more picks. There's got to be a move out there for them in this group. There's moves happening around them. That's it. And I think they got to get something done today.
I think when you look at all the moves that are being done early on this morning, I go, what? Why can't they be in that mix? Those are the tweaks. Those are the moves that I was hoping to see, and I'm still hoping to see. And there's still obviously a couple hours left, and these things can happen. But that's what I guess I was more expecting today. I think early on, when everything was going on with Pascal and OG, everyone was like, oh man, can the Kings get in the mix? Can it be a big splash, fireworks, all these things? Well, that they were talking about Pascal and being in those conversations and really trying hard to make it make sense without just trading away their future for a rental, and you also want to make sure you have guys here that want to play here in Sacramento. And I know even something else that we had heard about DeJounte Murray about
well, that's another name. I'm glad you brought him up.
And by the way, so we'll talk about him and, what's rumored around him right now. But I remember talking about him when he was really linked to the Kings, and it was like, but I don't really want to play in Sacramento, not because of the city, but more so because of the position that he would be in. There's a point guard here in De'Aaron Fox, and he believes he should have the ball in his hands and should be that point guard. And he's in this situation like that with Trae Young, and it's not the best for him or his game.
Well, I would hope that if that was an obstacle, that could be worked through.
For sure.
Because it's not going to be the same. The Kings have ball movement. They could do more, especially if they went after someone like DeJounte Murray. I like him a lot, and I like his defensive upside. He's been an all-defensive team guy before, But who knows what the Hawks are doing? I think that's been the toughest part about this trade deadline is gauging, like, all right, who really wants to do business or not? The Hawks seemingly look like a team that would want to do business. We've heard about Bogey. Could he get moved, right? You mentioned someone like DeJounte Murray. There's mixed stuff that they've definitely tested the water. Some people are acting like, oh, they wouldn't trade much to get DeJounte Murray. And then you read the report in The Athletic that says Quinn Snyder is really trying to push the front office not to deal him, to give it more time. I don't know what the hell is going to happen with that one. And then you've got the Kuzma situation where it seems like the Wizards are asking for a ton. I left a trade off.
What trade?
I didn't tell you about this trade. I just realized this one. Oh, my God. The Dallas Mavericks traded Rashawn Holmes to the Wizards today.
What the hell?
Oh, my God.
How did you not tell me?
How did I not write that down?
Your job. I don't go to Woj and Shams. I go to you.
I know.
Tell me.
And I can't believe I forgot a trade. For my rundown. This is unlike me.
This is embarrassing.
This is according to Woj. The Wizards are nearing a deal to send Daniel Gafford to the Mavs for Rashawn Holmes and draft compensation. Daniel Gafford is an upgrade over Rashawn Holmes. Can be a shot blocking presence, obviously. And
Bigger.
I was very surprised that Washington would give him up. So they get Rashawn Holmes and draft compensation. We don't know what that draft compensation is. And now, Rashawn Holmes, Marvin Bagley, leading the Washington Wizards.
Man.
In all seriousness, for someone like Rashawn,
Good for him.
hopefully this is an opportunity for him to just get some run.
Yes.
I don't know. Like,
I'm so obviously seeing him here in Sacramento and finding his way with Tyrese Halliburton in that 2-man game and being like, oh shit, his push shot, it's unstoppable. What can it be? And then it going to, okay, Domas Sabonis is here. His role completely changes. He's not even seeing the floor, and it didn't make sense in the system. All these different things. He goes to the Mavs, and you thought that was going to be this new home for him. It wasn't. He wasn't seeing time. It wasn't working for him. And so now you look at a team like Washington that is absolutely awful, and you go, can you show some of your talent there? Can you just get on the floor and play? Because he's just such a good guy and deserves to play basketball. So, but for Gafford going to the Mavs, good for them.
I think it's great insurance for Derek Lively. Derek Lively's got a ton of talent, and he's had a good rookie season. The problem is he just gets in a lot of foul trouble. And then Dallas hasn't been comfortable with the depth behind him. You get Gafford in there.
25.
There's some depth. And he's a rim protector.
I mean, that's you talk about Lively and like getting foul trouble. He's a rookie, of course. He's and it's like he's still working on his body. He's still growing. He's still developing and trying to figure things out. So and trying to figure out how to use your chest rather than your hands when you're guarding some of these bigs will come with those NBA minutes and with that experience. I think that's a great move for the Mavs.
And Gafford makes $13 million next year, $14 the year after that. That's not a terrible deal. It's not like it's some crazy long term. So he's got 2 years after this year, and it helps Lively. It's that transition. And if you're Dallas, maybe you move on from Gafford in time, and it's all good.
Yeah.
So I like that move for them. Big time for the Dallas Mavericks. It's a move I think they needed. I'm actually surprised that Washington did a deal like that. I don't know what the motivation was for them. And now it makes me even more curious what they're trying to do. There's been a lot of talk about Tyus Jones getting moved. DeLon Wright getting moved. We mentioned Kuzma. Denny Abdia, I mean, if they wanted to move him, he can go right to Sacramento. Probably not going to move a guy like that who's still on a good contract and in, his prime right now. He's a really talented player. But
right
unlock this guy. Morgan, he's got size. He could defend. He could pass. He would be perfect in Sacramento. I just don't see them letting him go.
Yeah, and shooting almost 39% from three.
He's improved that.
Yeah, no, he really has. Yeah, obviously. I think that's what's been. I don't even want to say it's been fun leading up to the trade deadline, but whenever you are a fan of a team, there's NBA fans that are here that come in and out all day, and it's like when you're a fan of a team and you just like think about these names being on your team, Mikal Bridges, would this guy work? Would this guy work? And it's like it's fun to think about, but ultimately you have to look at who's really selling and why they would sell these pieces. So yeah, I think when you look at a lot of the trades early on today already. They've
6 trades.
and to me as an NBA fan, these have been kind of exciting. These have been the tweaks that a team like the New York Knicks can just get better
let's talk
and better.
about the Knicks,
Okay.
Morgan.
Okay.
Because their day has been nice. They get Bojan Bogdanovic, Alec Burks, who destroyed the Kings last
And
night.
back to the Knicks.
Yes, it goes back to the Knicks. They did give up Quentin Grimes, who I like a lot. Some toughness, but he wasn't really a fit there with the pieces that they had. They also got Malachi Flynn, Evan Fournier, 2 seconds, Ryan Archie-Diacono. But the Kings, I wish. The Knicks get Bojan Burks, and they also, in a separate deal, get Daniel House. This Knicks team is one of the more entertaining teams to watch in the league. You know why? Because all NBA fans could connect with a team who plays hard. DiVincenzo's balling. Jalen Brunson. Josh Hart brings toughness. Hartenstein has been amazing for them. Randall's hurt right now. Mitchell Robinson got hurt, and they're still trying to find a way to get through this. I felt like they needed some more shooting. They addressed that. Now, Bojan, there's going to be some defensive challenges there, but he's got good IQ. He's got some good size. You know he could shoot the ball, spread the floor. I think that's a good pickup. And Alec Burks is just one of those like vets you like to have on your team because he is a guy that can come in and on a given night drop 30 off the bench or something like that. He could shoot it too. The Knicks, the Knicks look pretty good.
Yeah, they look tough. They look, you said it with Jalen Brunson, Dante DiVincenzo, OG, Hartenstein, Bojan. It's like right there you're looking at your possible starting 5, and then you just go down the list. And Josh Hart, just a guy that plays tough and has found a way to shoot the basketball in New York. It's
a fun team.
It is.
And I feel like they got a little more balance now with some additional shooting that they needed. They're tough. Do I view them as a championship team at this point? I don't see it. I don't see them getting past like a Boston. But things happen, dude. Like, is Boston going to stay healthy? I don't know.
And if Julius Randle is healthy, does that change your mind at all, or do you not?
It's always challenging to make these trades. I mean, they've acquired. OG was a big piece to put in the puzzle, but he seemed like he was an easy fit on that team before getting injured. I don't know. It's hard to mix in all these new guys, but I'll tell you what, they're going to compete and they're going to bust their ass, and you never know what happens.
Yeah, that's for sure.
We are waiting to see if there's more trades happening. I have all my alerts on, and we will alert you as soon as it happens.
Did you see that video I was watching before we pushed live? And it was Woj kind of talking. He was talking about Miles Bridges. He was talking about guys that possibly won't move. And Miles Bridges was on there, and we already talked about that. But Kyle Kuzma was someone he was talking about as well. Like Washington really wants to find a way to keep, or not find a way. They want to keep him and continue with Kyle Kuzma, which I go, are these smoke screens?
Yes.
Is that
yes? Okay. I don't buy that at all. I think Kuzma's deal's nice. It goes down each and every year. But I think they're just trying to get teams to, hey, we don't want to give them up. Give us some picks. Give us some picks. They want first. I don't know what they're going to be able to achieve in that situation. I think the tough thing with Kuzma right now, I think for teams is, to be honest, man, I'm mixed on him. If you asked me a year ago how I felt, I'd be like, yeah, make that deal. I think for me, it's just, he becomes a free agent, talked to Houston, Sacramento, talked to multiple teams, ends up going back to Washington. And, my feel on it was, he went back there because he knew he could get his.
Yep. Have the ball in his hand, get the money, all of it.
But I truly believe Kuzma's the type of player, has the talent to go on a good team and fit in and be great because he's got tremendous size, length, athleticism. He'd shoot a little bit, not great, but he's a threat. He's a good playmaker. Defensively, when he's locked in around some solid pieces and a good structure, I think he can help you. But I don't know how to feel because I'm watching the Wizards this year and going, I don't like this. This is losing basketball.
Yeah, he's shooting 33% from three-point land, just to give you. And he's chucking. He's attempting almost 7 per game. He's played 49 games this year. I'm just looking down the list, averaging 22 points a game. And yeah, I mean, that when you talk about players like Kyle Kuzma, you go, if he's in the right situation with the right coaching and the right system, could it just all make sense? It doesn't matter if it could all make sense unless it's going to make sense here. And I'm pointing at my brain for any of the people that are going to listen to this later on the audio. And it's like,
Oh, we're putting this audio up?
we always do, right?
No, we don't put a 7-hour stream up.
We should.
Okay.
That'd be fun. I would listen. I drive a lot. But yeah, I think that is the main thing you think about with him. And especially because it's like in free agency, why wasn't he looking to come to the Sacramento Kings? Probably because he's like, where a lot of players look at this. They go, Domas is your guy.
Yep.
De'Aaron's your guy. I want to be that guy. I believe I am that guy. Pascal thought he was that guy.
And I think he wanted max money, and I
Yes.
don't think the Kings were prepared to give him max money.
Absolutely. So I like situations like this, like I'm okay with people looking for the best situation for themselves. And that's why, though, if Kyle Kuzma was available in this trade without giving up a whole bunch of your future, because Mark Stein, he was on the Kings pregame show talking about how like a guy like DeJounte Murray and Kyle Kuzma, these teams are asking for, 2 first-round picks. And so it just seems like the sellers out there are dangling everything that they have because everyone's wanting to buy.
We appreciate everyone hanging out with us. We are less than 2.5 hours away from the end of the deadline. Is it going to heat up this hour? Are we going to be ready to go and our deal's going to be flying left or right and right or right? I don't know.
Whoa.
Up and down. What is going to go down? Make your predictions in the chat. We'll react to what is happening as it happens. Let's get to some people in the chat. Stefan says, hello from Bulgaria. Do you guys want to see Sasha get some more minutes? Who would you trade from the roster if you were the GM? I would love Sasha to get some more minutes for the Sacramento Kings. He did get in the game, making his return last night, played like 6 minutes. Didn't get any additional run after that. It's kind of hard to figure out. For the Kings, I think they've got to be open-minded. I think some of the names that you've seen out there, I'm open to it. For me, it's wondering like what deals are truly out there. I think the Kings were willing to swing big at like a Pascal or OG. They checked in on those and they weren't able to get those deals done. I don't know if there's a big swing this time. So what are the moves on the fringes? A part of me,
What?
the guy that I'd love to see get a new home is Davion. And
Oh,
I just think he's someone that needs some more run,
Yeah.
needs some more opportunity. I was even looking like if Washington was, I know it's not a great situation, but I'm like, hey, if they move on from like Tyus Jones and like Davion ends up in Washington, he can get some good run there or at least go somewhere where he could be like a legit backup and get 15, 20
showcase
minutes a
his
night.
talent because
Yeah.
like what he has to offer on the defensive end, obviously you're going to see his flaws in being an undersized guard, but there's truly something with his on-ball defense that is just super spectacular. And then you look at him offensively, just growing, getting better and better, but also just not having the minutes to really perform and show it off all the time. And then and it's like if he does have more minutes and he's not showing off, well, it ends up being a shorter leash. And it's understandable. I mean, he right now is coming off the bench. You're playing behind guys like Malik Monk and De'Aaron Fox. So, yeah, I hope he's someone that I just hope that gets to shine somewhere.
Let's get to more of the chat. Mr. Derp8 says more Mo, less Deuce.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mr. Derp.
Well, I mean, what are you going to do, huh?
Yeah, derp.
What are you going to do? Do I get a refill? When do I get a refill my coffee?
Hey, you know what? How about this? You refill your coffee now if you refill my coffee.
Okay, I'll be quick.
Here you go. I'll take an iced espresso stat. Derp, so now you're getting more Deuce right this second. Hey, if you have not done it yet, hit the thumbs up. We got 600 plus people here. Let's get the thumbs up going. Let's make sure to subscribe to this channel. We're trying to get to 15,000 subs. Well, this is to keep going up. So NBA fans around the world hang out with us today. It is the NBA trade deadline. You hear that sound? That means action is happening. All right. More questions and comments. JT Money 916 says, can we address the weaknesses on defense? Yeah, I feel like getting a guy or guys with length and size would be nice. And one that I would love, and I don't know what the hell Portland's doing. That's another team I'm going, what's Portland trying to do? Matisse Thybulle. What I guess complicates things a little bit and not a ton is he does have a no trade clause, so he would have to approve any deal. I would imagine if he had the opportunity to come to Sacramento, he'd be like, yeah, I'm down. Like, I'm going to play a role there. Cool, let me go play there. But I don't know. I need to stay on the West Coast. RP says, at the very least, Monty McNair needs to trade for DeLon Wright. He's a perfect combo guard next to Fox and Monk. Yeah, I like DeLon Wright a lot. And obviously, we got to see him a little bit in Sacramento a couple of years back. I thought Monty made a mistake when he traded him in that Tristan Thompson deal that, you look back on and go, ugh. But DeLon, a guy who can handle, he's got good size, can defend. Health is always a question mark for him. But I think he'd play a role in Sacramento that you're not going to have to lean a ton on him. And he can come in and really help things. I think the Kings thought they were going to get more out of Chris Duarte. I mean, I know they thought they were going to get more. I think they felt like Duarte was going to be a guy they're going to take a swing on. He can come to Sacramento, fresh start, play some good defense, knock down some threes, and he has not been a factor for them. That was their Terrence Davis replacement. Terrence Davis, was in the G League, ruptured his Achilles tendon, so he's out for the year. I'm bummed for him, but that was a gamble, and that did not pay off. Really, what moves did pay off for the Sacramento Kings in the offseason, right? McGee hasn't really worked out. I think Sasha has the chance to still work out. I like his game, but not a lot to like at this point with how the offseason went for the Kings. Charlie says, can we get Tyus Jones, basketball gods? I like Tyus Jones. He makes $13 million. It's an expiring deal. I mean, do you trade for him and then just let him walk at the end of the year? That's the tough part. I think he's a guy that probably would want more minutes too. How do you juggle all that? Are you willing? Can he get 20 minutes a night here? It's possible. The baby daddy says, come on, give me Grimes. Detroit doesn't need him. I like Quentin Grimes a lot. That was a guy that I was looking at too. Like, God, he'd be a good guy to take a swing on, a young guy who just plays hard. He's got good size. The names that you've heard out there, Dorian Finney-Smith, Royce O'Neal, I throw out there Matisse Thybulle. I've heard Caleb Martin as a name possibly too. So we'll see if the Kings can get anything done. I mean, we're approaching less than 2 hours away from the NBA trade deadline. Brian says the Kings don't have the assets. The only way is to take out a bad contract, possibly obtain a player that might be a difference maker for us. They have the assets to get a small deal done. They absolutely have the assets to get a deal done. The big deal, it's tough. I think the big deal probably would have to wait till the offseason when they can move more of their first-round picks. Felix, give me Amon Shumpert. Are we hopping? Felix, do you have a time machine? Are we hopping into the time machine and going back to like 2014 and getting Shumpert, or you want the guy that hasn't been in the NBA in like 4 years? What are we saying?
Coffee for Deuce?
Thank you!
Coffee for Deuce?
That's not an espresso.
Oh, what'd you ask for?
An espresso. You got me an iced coffee.
Oh, sorry, sir. Do you want me to take it back?
Oh, man. Biggity Blake says Caleb Martin would be a nice pickup. Yeah, and that's a name that Miami's shopping a bit here. They don't know if they could keep him long term. A couple of people mentioning Herb Jones. I just don't know why the Pelicans would give him up. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, that's a guy you want to keep around. Obviously, if Herb Jones is out there and you can get him, yeah. Jesse James says, I'm guessing that Monty will end up bringing in at least one player with length and size that gives defensive effort, but Brown won't play them because he'd just play three players all game if he could. Dude, I'm going to tell you right now, if there's one thing that Brown would like is a guy that has length and size that could defend and do what he wants out there consistently and not be an offensive liability. I think he would love that.
I mean, wouldn't we all? That's something I think last night's podcast, we were talking a lot about someone like Matisse Thybulle, but we're like, again, another guy that we go, even with the Portland Trailblazers, why would they give him up right now? Sometimes we can put reasons in our own heads and go, well, what are they trying to do with their youth there? What are they trying to break down this year after Dame? But at the same time, they seem like they'd be another organization that would be like dangling the carrot. Okay, how much do you want Matisse Thybulle?
Yeah.
Because then I want this, this, and this to make sure I'm growing my future as well.
We have a trade. This is from Adrian Wojnarowski. The Raptors are trading Dennis Schroeder to the Nets for Spencer Dinwiddie. The seventh trade of deadline day is here. Dennis Schroeder headed to the Nets for Dinwiddie. So Toronto takes on Dinwiddie, who was clearly, he looked like he was miserable with the Nets recently. And they move on from him to get Schroeder.
I really like Spencer Dinwiddie.
He's not having a good year, though.
No, but I mean, I can still like him even if he's not like the greatest basketball
Like him.
in the world right now.
What else is going to have to go in that deal? I feel like there's going to have to be more in that deal because I'm not mistaken. I'm looking at the Nets. Yeah. Dinwiddie makes $20.3 million in expiring deal. And Schroeder signed over the offseason in Toronto. And he makes 12.4 this year, 13 next year. So I'm trying to figure out what else is going to have to go to get that deal completely done. But that's what we know at the moment, just the bare bones of it. Schroeder goes to the Nets. Spencer Dinwiddie goes to the Toronto Raptors.
I mean, you got two 30-year-old point guards. You know, you're just kind of switching back and forth, seeing if you can give them.
I get, but like what? I mean, I guess
I like both players. I like but I know if you look at Spencer Dinwiddie's contract and then what he's been able.
He just hasn't played well the last couple of years,
right?
And that's my thing. Is it? And his Nets run has not been good.
No, his second Nets run,
yes,
because his first one,
yes,
was a little different. Yeah. So I mean, new scenery. Never know what that can do for someone.
Yeah.
New system.
But what's the motive? I mean, you allow Dinwiddie to get a new look, but what's the motive? There has to be some additional thing because you just trade an expiring contract for Schroeder. So I'm just trying to figure out how that math works. We'll keep you up to date on that. We've got 700 people watching us live. It's NBA trade deadline day. We are 2 hours and 15 minutes until that buzzer goes off. We have seen 7 deals this morning. What else is in store? Do we get some fireworks later? Will the Kings do something? Will the Chicago Bulls get something done and sell some pieces? Are the Wizards selling more? Does Miami have another move up in their sleeve? Does Bruce Brown get moved? The Raptors are being active today. They made 2 moves, one with Utah. They got Olynyk and Abaji. They just got Spencer Dinwiddie. Are the Raptors done yet? Woo! Do you get juiced a little bit?
Oh, I absolutely no. So again, we're
Let's
not.
go.
We don't touch.
Yes. I wish I could get just a nice little
Can I do
slap
it?
on the chest. No, like from a pro wrestler, not from your soft ass.
Okay, let me show you.
No, I'm good.
Well,
Shout out to Brendan Nunez in the chat too. Always good to see him.
Brendan.
Yeah, this is gonna be interesting to see what happens because I don't know how to feel as the clock starts ticking.
yeah. There's a lot of players.
Are there more moves gonna happen?
I mean,
I need some more
okay.
moves.
So, couple things. Who were we talking about the other day that we saw? DeLon Wright.
I like DeLon Wright.
So, like, even for someone like him, if that was the tweak, if that was the move, are you leaving trade deadline being, okay, glad something happened?
Yes. I'm gonna be honest.
What?
I need something from the Kings.
Okay,
I need a move.
It's like, what do you need?
No, I need a move from the Kings. Last night, I know you don't just make a move based on one game, right? It's like, oh, you have a bad game. But last night's loss to the Pistons was just, you got dominated by
You
them.
make a move after.
Well, I mean, it's not just that loss too,
Yeah.
right? It's like you've had kind of some of these weird losses to bad teams, and you know what the weaknesses are. We've seen them, and you saw them on display in back-to-back games against a really good Cavs team, and then literally the worst team in the NBA in the Pistons, who are down their 2 leading scorers, who just made a trade in that day, down a couple of other guys, and they came in and dropped a $133. It wasn't like, oh, hey, man, Tired Legs, you missed some shots. You got dominated on your home floor. And for me, that's like, hey, I've seen enough. The Kings, if they don't make a deal today, they'll be fine. I think they could still be a playoff team and but like their ceiling is what it is. Like this is who they are.
Especially in the Western freaking Conference when you're seeing. Here's a question. I know, obviously, we're talking about the Kings, whatever. Are the Lakers doing anything?
What do the Lakers do? I mean,
what do they do? One, but two, like,
are they going to gift wrapped something like they did last year when they got all those deals? Like that's all they gave up to get that.
Gift wrap something. My question is though, when you look at someone like LeBron who has had so much power within an organization, and then you hear, the people that cover LeBron really close being like, it's not him. It doesn't fall on him. Like just trying to protect him. It's like, oh, sweetie, we all know. Yeah. We all know the behind the scenes of whatever team LeBron is on. But yeah, I guess him not being happy, what would that even mean at this point in his career? One. Two, what moves could they actually make to move the needle? It's not even what moves could they make. What moves could they make to actually move the needle?
I mean, I think the DeJounte Murray one is intriguing, but it doesn't sound like that Atlanta wants D'Angelo Russell at this point. Now things can change. They could change fast. I mean, personally, I don't know that that's like a game changer, but look, DeJounte Murray is a guy who can handle the rock. He is capable of playing defense. Put him in that situation. Yeah. That's intriguing. Yeah. That's intriguing.
Okay. That one, intriguing, I think is fair.
We do have an update on the trade. I was mentioning there has to be more in that Toronto-Brooklyn deal. There is, as Thaddeus Young is on the move. He is going to the Nets as well to complete the deal for Schroeder.
Okay.
There had to be more,
yeah, that makes sense.
According to amateur cap expert, a.k.a. guy who just looks at, basketball reference spreadsheets. There just need to be more salary in the deal. I'm no Bobby Marks.
God, I love Bobby. Wish Bobby Marks was here.
Yeah.
Wish, I know someone was talking about this last night. They're like, hey, is that fake Woj joining your show? And I was like, whoa, he's not fake. That's Woj's brother, Adam Wojnarowski.
Source close to the situation says you can't expect a visit from Adrian Wojnarowski's brother later today, Adam Wojnarowski.
Whoa. Okay. Let's see. Trade Deuce for Mo. I just wanted to read it because it was kind of funny. Because it was about me.
Appreciate you guys being here, by the way. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe. The poll question that we put up today, will the Kings make a move? The option, yes, maybe one, or nope, run it back. Well, mixed reviews. 46% say maybe one, 29% say nope, run it back, and 25% say yes.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah, it's so interesting looking at the last couple of months, and I guess not even the months. Just look at this season for the Sacramento Kings, and you see the really good, and then you saw health, play a part, and then you saw the inconsistency, and people are like, whoa. Standards, expectations are much higher this year. This cannot be the way. We need change. We need people to produce every single night. One of the best things that I heard Mike Bibby talk about this year was he was like the other night going, just because a guy has 4-5 bad games doesn't just mean it's a slump. Like, we define things as a slump so quickly when it's like the guy could just have a bad 4 or 5 games. And then I challenged him. I said, yes, I agree, because I completely agree with that. But I also go, well, when Kevin Huerter wasn't playing well from the end of last year in the postseason through the beginning of this year, I'm like, that was a slump. And he's like, absolutely. So, you have to make sure when you are talking about these people who perform every single night, not every week like an NFL football player, every single night, every other night in the NBA, it's like you're going to have bad nights in multiple of them put together at times. I think with the Kings, it just felt like for a while there was multiple guys having bad nights, and the team wasn't just having a good night together. And so I think that started worrying people like, okay, what can this front office add to make sure that doesn't happen? That can still happen even with a tweaked player.
Let's get to an update from Sam Amick. He just wrote a piece in The Athletic highlighting the Sacramento Kings a bit as they approach this NBA trade deadline at noon. He writes, while the Kings are known to have interest in a number of players who remain available, from Brooklyn's Dorian Finney-Smith and Royce O'Neal to the Wizards' DeLon Wright and Miami's Caleb Martin, those aren't the kind of players to likely inspire them to give up too much of the draft stock they would need for a bigger move down the line. But those kind of players, team sources tell The Athletic, are still in play. As McNair made clear in our interview last summer, the Kings' ability to upgrade in a major way if this current group wasn't getting the job done is a major part of their plan. And to set the record straight on a related front, I'm told the Kings do not see Kuzma as that sort of player. Team sources say there have been no talks on the Kuzma front for months, and the Kings have no interest in losing any of the rotation players who would need to be sent out to match his salary, $25 million this season, before declining over the next 3 seasons. Even beyond that, all signs point to the Kings keeping their current core and then some intact while trying to add it without losing any of their main rotation players. So, sounds like, according to Amick, go ahead. Let's just dismiss the Kuzma thing. Like, it's not happening. Put that aside. And then some of the moves that we've already talked about, we talked about last night, DeLon Wright, Caleb Martin, who I like a lot, Royce O'Neal, Dorian Finney-Smith. Those are the type of moves. Now, are they going to be able to get something done? That's the biggest question. Is I understand the motivation to keep some of this current group intact, but this current group is also a group that is losing at home to the Pistons and losing at home to the Hornets and losing some tough games. They have to tweak some things.
Yeah. I mean, and you look at those names that were in that piece and you go, okay, I mean, those are definitely tweaks that we're seeing all day here around the league that are happening to some of these rosters. So, yeah, if that were to happen, I think they would be fair. And then going back to even some of the Kyle Kuzma stuff and saying, it hasn't been there for months or whatever. Sometimes I even look at that and I go, I just don't trust certain things. I just always go, are they smoke screens, whatever. Yep. But I wouldn't care if that was true anyway.
We are 2 hours and 5 minutes away.
Are you doing a countdown every 5 minutes?
Yes. We should do a little trade rundown.
We should. I also would love, I think we should do a trade rundown of the day and then a trade rundown of the season because I even...
Of the season?
Because I think even like with some of the other ones, what?
Like going back to Dame? Going back to James Harden?
How about going back to like Steven Adams, Bruce Brown, like some of those.
NBA trades.
I'm sorry. Do we not have time today?
Oh, we do. It's just like, I mean, you're asking like to go back to a lot here.
I mean, but you're good at this.
All right.
It's fun. It's just fun for me.
If I can turn back time. Do you want to start with November 1st when the Kings did make a trade this year?
Yes.
We go back to November 1st when the Kings traded for Philip Petrusev.
Yes.
Who's no longer with the Kings in a trade with the Clippers. And then, of course, the Knicks made that big trade, Achua, Malachi Flynn, and OG in exchange for RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley, and a second-round pick. That happened December 30th. Then, January 14th, the Pistons and Wizards made a trade that shook the very core of the NBA universe when Danilo Gallinari and Mike Muscala landed with the Pistons in exchange for Marvin Bagley, Isaiah Livers, and 2 second-round picks. Oh, and how about the trade that the Pacers made, landing Pascal Siakam in that 3-team deal, Bruce Brown, Nora, Kyra Lewis, and 3 first-round picks to the Raptors. Mm-hmm. And Kyra Lewis ends up in that deal going for the Pelicans to the Pacers. More on those names in a bit. Ooh. Hornets, meanwhile, made a trade on January 23rd when Terry Rozier lands with the Miami Heat in exchange for Kyle Lowry and a 2027 first-round pick. There's a lot of talk that Lowry could get bought out and land with the Sixers.
Yep. Okay.
Coming up on the buyout market. Then, February 1st, just 7 days ago, we had a trade. The Houston Rockets landed Steven Adams for Victor Oladipo and 3 second-round picks to the Grizzlies. We just got one more update. The Pistons, just because they're making moves left and right, they just waived Joe Harris, the veteran. Meanwhile, the Pistons did make a deal yesterday. There are 3 deals in the NBA. Simone Fontecchio goes from the Jazz to the Pistons in exchange for Kevin Knox, a second-round pick, and the draft rights to Gabriel Procida? Did I say it right? Ooh. I don't know. Then, yesterday, the Boston Celtics made a decent deal, I think. They needed some more size. They needed a guy with some toughness. They got it. Xavier Tillman goes from Memphis to Boston for Lamar Stevens and 2 future second-round picks.
I like that.
Another move that I like, Monte Morris goes to the Minnesota T-Wolves in exchange for Shake Milton, Troy Brown, and a 2030 second-round pick going to the Pistons. The T-Wolves need a backup point guard. They didn't really have one. Who do you trust behind Mike Conley? You get a guy that has the ability to do it. He's done it on some winning teams. He started. That's a good move for the Minnesota T-Wolves. Then this morning, Morgan, we had deals galore. How about the first one that really came out? You had Buddy Hield going to the Sixers in exchange for Marcus Morris, Forkmon Korkmaz, and 3 second-round picks. Then the Utah Jazz, they got busy with the Raptors. Toronto lands Kelly Olynyk and Ochai Agbaji from the Utah Jazz in exchange for Kyra Lewis, Otto Porter, and a pick. OKC made a deal today. Trey Mann, Davis Bertans, and Misic heading to the Charlotte Hornets in exchange for Gordon Hayward and his $30 million expiring deal. The Knicks said, we're not done. We're trying to make some noise in the East. MSG is on fire again. They make a couple of trades, one with the Sixers. Daniel House headed there along with a second-round pick. Then they make a deal with the Pistons, who are beyond active. Bojan Bogdanovic and Alec Burks are headed to the Knicks in exchange for Malachi Flynn, Quentin Grimes, Evan Fournier, 2 second-round picks, and Ryan Arcidiacono. The Dallas Mavericks also made a deal today, and it's a good one. They get Daniel Gafford in exchange for Rashawn Holmes and draft compensation. We don't know draft compensation at this hour. Then this one, Toronto just made this deal. Spencer Dinwiddie and his large expiring deal is headed to the Raptors in exchange for Dennis Schroeder and Thaddeus Young. Those are the deals. Will we have more? We have officially 2 hours to go in the NBA trade deadline. Will the deals start flying? Who's going to make the move? Are the Sacramento Kings going to make some noise?
This is why I have.
Or are they going to stand pat?
This is why. Because
They're
I love
gonna
it. It's like a little story time. It's like, can I get a little reminder? And that's a fantastic reminder.
Are the Chicago Bulls making some noise?
Haven't seen anything yet. Also,
where is it?
With someone like Joe Harris, the Pistons waiving him.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's been banged. I mean, he could shoot.
You say banged up. He played 74 games last year in Brooklyn.
That wasn't last year.
Yeah, it was. 22-23 season. He started 33, played 74.
He's always hurt. But yeah, okay, it was last year. You're right. Okay, so he played 16 games this year, 74 the year before that, 14 the year before that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, he's a shooter. He's fine.
I mean.
And a bench guy.
Shoot. You need some, what?
We're less than 2 hours away. 700 plus people. I need the thumbs up to be around 400 or 500 by now. Make sure to subscribe. We are chasing 15,000 subs today. Can we get to 15,000 by the end of the day? I would love it because we are less than 300 away. Whoa. We are 297 away from reaching the 15,000 mark. So let's do it.
Hey, thanks, everybody. Seriously, appreciate everyone being here this morning. Love this. This is like one of our favorite shows to do. It's just fun being on all day and seeing what teams are going to have a new future, what teams are getting better, all those different things. Isn't the NBA so much fun? And I feel like there's been so many years where it's like, oh man, there's not a lot going on at the NBA trade deadline. I feel like the last couple of years, we've had some movement. Even if it's not fireworks at the deadline and you're seeing that happen early on in the season, you're still seeing the movement, and I think that's fun alone.
Need some more, though. We've gotten a little tease today. You know, we are up to 7 deals this morning.
Wow.
I would love, you know what I would love, and I know everybody would. Imagine if we had a feed right now where we could click on any team's conference room right now and you just click on, just hear what they're talking about.
Yeah, are you kidding me?
Oh, God, it'd be
I would
amazing.
honestly, I would pay big bucks for that. I'm a cheap person. I would pay big bucks. That would be so fun. Why can't we do that? Just more reality television things in NBA, please combine
There's
the
too many
two.
secrets. You can't put everything out there. You got
The rumors.
Let's talk about what Sam Amick had to say in The Athletic about the Kings, though. About, hey, they're not interested in Kuzma. What do you think about that? Do you think that's a smokescreen? Do you think... Here's my first reaction to it.
Oh, please ask me, but then give me your reaction.
Yeah, okay. I'm still going to get to you. I just want to quickly get to my thought and have you respond to it.
You don't have to be quick. We have time.
They Monty McNair almost traded for Kuzma. Like, that deal was seemingly done until LeBron went in there and was like, actually, we want Westbrook. And they made that deal with Washington instead. That blew up the Kings landing Kuzma in a deal for Buddy Hield. Do you think they just changed their mind, don't like Kuzma now? Or is this more like they don't like that Washington's trying to ask for a shit ton?
Well, I'm leaning toward that.
Whoa. Shut your mouth. We got to trade. Oh, Dallas is not playing around today.
What? Tell me.
The Dallas Mavericks are trading Grant Williams. Yes, Grant Williams,
Okay.
Seth Curry, and a first-round pick for P.J. Washington.
Whoa.
P.J. Washington. So Charlotte gets Grant Williams, Seth Curry, who grew up in the Charlotte area, and a first-round pick in exchange for P.J. Washington. And from a Dallas
for
perspective, the Grant Williams thing just didn't seem to work there.
It was what it was.
He had a great game against the Kings.
Yeah, he did.
Like 29 points is one of his rare big games. They signed him in the offseason, hoping he could bring that toughness, blah, blah, blah. Instead, they go with P.J. Washington. So today, Dallas alone has landed P.J. Washington, and they have landed Daniel Gafford. They got better today. I think they got better today. They upgrade their backup big spot. I think P.J. Washington gives them a little more offensive threat, obviously, than Grant Williams can provide. And he still has the length and size to be a solid defensive player. You have seen that. P.J. Washington was a guy I was kind of eyeing for the Kings a bit, too, for a minute.
Well, I feel like everyone has been eyeing him for a minute with the Kings. I mean, the amount of times I hadn't heard his name connected really to the Kings, but with Kings fans, I feel like a lot of people had been talking about him, what he could contribute. I mean, he's 25 years old, I believe. Yeah.
And he makes next year 15.5 and 14 million. So Dallas has added some salary today with Gafford's deal and the years, I believe, and PJ's deal. I'm just going to double check a couple of their salary items because I think Rashawn's deal was expiring coming up this year. No, Rashawn had a player option next year. Wow. Okay, so 12.8 next year for him. Seth Curry's deal has $4 million next year. Grant Williams is under contract. Wow. Okay, never mind. Grant Williams has 13 next year, 13.6 after that, 14 after that.
So Grant Williams is going to Charlotte, right?
For now. Yeah.
Okay, for now. And by the way, I know there was a lot of people even in the offseason around Sacramento that were like, what about Grant Williams? Like, what could he add? Like, there is something to Grant Williams that he can contribute. He also is what he is.
Yep.
But I also think he's a great guy. I got to talk to him yeah, remember he came on my junior NBA broadcast at Summer League, and just nice guy, loves the game, and I love the way that he plays out there, except when he starts relying on his bullshit antics because sometimes he's not good enough to do the other things. You know, he'll get up and guys, but sometimes you need that kind of toughness too around your team. But for the Mavs, upgrading to someone like P.J. Washington, who's younger, 25 years old. He's long. He's athletic. I mean, just huge wingspan. It's going to be exciting for them. What do we have?
Just an update on the first round pick that Dallas is sending. This is interesting. I mean, it's a lightly protected 2027 pick. So
Why do you make that face?
well, I mean, I don't know what's Dallas look like. I mean, we're in 2024, and they gave up a lightly protected 2027 pick to land PJ Washington. So that's interesting. I mean, they're trying to obviously be really competitive. Now, does this elevate Dallas to the top 4? Like, no, it doesn't. So that's interesting. Get to give up that type of draft compensation. I think for the Hornets, they're going, you want us to take Grant Williams' deal? Well, we'll go ahead and take that first rounder. It's top 2 protected, according to Shams.
You're going to do you?
There you go. There you go. Anytime there's an update or a trade, you're going to hear that. So it's top 2 protected. Wow. And they're sending 2 second rounder. Wait. And they're sending 2 second rounders to the Mavs. Okay.
Charlotte is receiving a 2027 first rounder from Dallas, 2 top protected, and sending 2 second rounders to the Mavs as part of the deal. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
That seems kind of costly to me.
For the Mavs, you're saying?
I mean, dude, 2027 is a long. I'm not trying to troll here.
I love when you do this.
What is it? You've got Kyrie and Luka. What if Luka's like, I'm not winning this shit. Trade me.
Well, I mean, even
I guess you can get those picks back in the trade.
But even for Kyrie, how many games has he even played this
Yeah.
year? Like this
Yeah.
this is due to health, and sometimes it's due to the nature of whatever.
I'd be cautious giving up like a pick like that. That's top 2 protected in a deal. You know, that's that far out. So from Charlotte's perspective, hey, get some more picks. You're trying to rebuild this thing. The Grant Williams salary is not great, but that also seems like a deal you could move, especially with where the cap is headed. These salaries are out of control, and Grant's making $13 million a year. It's not terrible. Yeah.
Do you think the Mavs look, because like
seems like a lot.
Kyrie 29 games out of, let's say, around out of 50 this season. And do you think the Mavs look at a season with Kyrie and Luka going forward as, okay, it's about staying in the playoffs, like stay not in the plan, stay in like play, even though they're in the play-in right now.
I mean, they didn't even make it last year.
Right. And right. And so like, would that be the goal? And then they're like, we think we can do wonders with even these 2 pieces alone. And then some of the youth around us. And now you do have someone in PJ Washington as well. I don't know. I am curious what their mindset is when it does come to the Luka years. I don't even think about Kyrie, even though I think sometimes with Kyrie, I go, you just don't know what you're going to get when he's not playing, if it's health or whatever. When he is on the floor, it's going to be great. One of the best ball handlers of all time. The way he can create a shot is absolutely amazing. But also, you do have to have those minutes and build that chemistry together when you're on the floor with 2 guys that like to have the ball in their hands, in Luka and Kyrie.
Yeah, to answer your question, because you went a long, winded explanation after that.
You never do
that. It's hard
that.
to keep up with. You asked me a question and went on. That's what I do.
Stupid.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't make the playoffs last year, right? They didn't even make the playoffs last year.
Right.
So this year, they obviously are like, we got to get in. The Grant Williams thing wasn't working. We took a flyer on Rashawn. That wasn't a fit. They think they got 2 guys that are better than those right away. What's the ceiling for them? I don't top 6.
Okay.
But I mean, they're obviously not catching 4. I still don't love the team, and I think that's the challenge, is finding ways to build around Luka the right way. They get Kyrie. Okay, what can you put around those guys to make it all work? Monk Muse says, thoughts on Caleb Martin? I'd love for the Kings to get him. He's a guy that has got good size. He's got toughness. You saw what he did in the playoffs last year. The guy's a dog.
Yeah.
He's the exact type of player that the Kings need, some toughness. They don't have enough of that on the roster.
Well, he's also scoring the most averaging the most he's ever been averaging in his career.
And that's fine. I don't even care about the offense.
I know, but that's the thing though. Like how many times are you talking about guys, hey, I want this defensive player, but he's a liability. He can't add on the offensive end. He can't do this. And sometimes on nights, even like last night, where you couldn't depend on De'Aaron Fox, to just get his and do what he needed to do. It's nice when you have other guys contributing.
That could be not just a defensive guy. He can
That's
actually
all.
get something. Yeah. You don't have to rely on him, but yeah.
Not a liability on the offensive end.
Wow. So, yeah, Dallas makes a trade. PJ Washington. They also get a couple of second rounders for Grant Williams, Seth Curry, and a first round pick in 2027 that is lightly protected. Man, the top two protected. That just seems so expensive for PJ Washington. Man.
It does. But hey, how many times have we talked about it?
It makes
today?
them better this year. It makes them better this year. There's not denying it. It makes them better
this year. I mean, wait, what did they give up for Kyrie? I mean, I feel like they're always like just going, sure, all in, take whatever you need, we'll go. Which in some ways, if it's the right move and you're doing the right things around Luka and in this time period, yes, that's smart. But at the same time, yeah, I'm curious how the Mavs plan on continuing to see a lot of success around Luka if they're giving away a lot of their future too.
If you have not done it yet, we need you to hit the thumbs up and subscribe. We are chasing that 15,000 sub mark. We want to get there today, Morgan. I know you don't think it's going to happen. I have confidence.
I didn't say it
we are like 275 away.
Awesome. Thank you all for hitting that subscribe button.
Wow, another guy is off the table for the Sacramento Kings. We have a trade update at this hour from Shams Charania. The Phoenix Suns are landing Royce O'Neal for 3 second-round picks.
For 3 second-round. What? Really?
So the Nets get 3 seconds, and the Suns get Royce O'Neal. That was a guy I liked for the Sacramento Kings, and that Sam Amick reported just a bit ago that the Kings had interest in. The Suns are able to get it done. That's obviously just a nice pickup for the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah.
They needed more depth. They've tried some other guys that they felt like could work out. It hasn't.
And for a couple second rounders, I mean, and you're looking again the time frame for Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. I mean, even Bradley Beal, if you want to add these 3 in there and being like, okay, we don't want to just have a whole bunch of, I don't want to say a whole bunch of nobodies around them, but you want to make sure you have the right type of depth on this roster. And Royce O'Neal, yeah. That's good for them.
He would have been a good guy for the Kings. His deal's expiring this year to $9.5 million. And you're going, man, second round picks are still valuable for sure. But if you're the Phoenix Suns, you don't give a shit about that because you're like, I've got Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker. We're paying a shit ton of money for these guys. I need the right players around them so we can try to win a championship. We've got a window here with KD. We have to maximize it. Royce O'Neal is a perfect vet with some good size. I like that deal for the Suns.
I need the right players, and I need them now.
That's another guy off the list for the Kings. Though.
I know.
We mentioned PJ Washington. We mentioned Royce O'Neal. The clock is a ticking here.
The clock's a ticking.
Oh, man. Yeah. That's I'm trying to think. The other guys that we were talking about, too, with the Kings, Torrey Craig is another option I thought for the Kings that would make some sense. Of course, he's in Chicago right now, and his deal, he makes 2.5 this year, 2.8 next year. Are the Kings going to be able to get something done? I'm telling you, Morgan, if they don't, and I know you don't just make trades based on how fans feel, but when fans look around, they see all these teams making deals. Dallas behind you got better. Phoenix, they look like they're improving their team. And they're chasing you, and they're already good. And you stand pat, that's going to be a tough sell. It's going to be a really tough sell for this organization.
And again, we're still looking at other teams in the West, like the Lakers. What are they going to do? Assuming that they are obviously trying to do something to make LeBron James happy. So if a whole bunch of teams in the West are making these tweaks. Now, we saw this last year. I remember this last year talking about like, okay, well, if the Kings don't do anything and then all the Western Conference teams are making these small tweaks, they're just getting better while the Kings are staying still. The Kings staying still last year didn't end up being a bad thing. And I think a lot of people at the trade deadline, because for 16 years, it was desperate. Please make a move. There needs to be change. There needs to be something. Like, I can't go another year without being in the playoffs. And I think last year, the Kings not only held a pretty high spot in the Western Conference standings all year long, it was this front office truly believed, and the coaching staff truly believed that they had something with this roster that they could see success. And they saw that success. And now, how do you grow on top of that success? To me, it isn't about staying still, but also it's not about just screwing up your future. So it's a fine line. I'm not an NBA GM for a reason. Hell no.
Get something done.
But
there's a move out there to be made, and there is still time to go.
Tweaks. And that's where I'm at. Tweaks. I'm not at fireworks. I'm at freaking tweaks.
Give us some tweaks.
Give us some tweaks.
It is 10:18 p.m. And by p.m., I mean a.m. It's 10:18 a.m. Pacific time. The deadline is at noon Pacific time. We will be here live through the deadline. We've got an update. My God, Memphis could be selling. They are selling even more. David Roddy is going to the Suns. Are you kidding me?
How?
The Phoenix Suns are going aggressive today at this hour. They just made a deal for Royce O'Neal with the Nets, and they are making another move. This is according to Shams. Memphis is sending David Roddy to the Suns for a pick swap as part of the three-way trade with the Suns and Nets. So it's part of that trade. So the Suns in that deal with Memphis will give you the final tally once it's all clarified. It's going to end up being a three-team trade with the Nets, Suns, and Grizzlies. Big picture-wise, the Phoenix Suns add David Roddy. He's got some girth. He's got some size, along with Royce O'Neal. The Suns got better today. So right now in the West, the Suns and Mavs have definitely got better.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at Booker, Beal, Grayson Allen.
Wow.
I forgot to mention him, obviously, early on even this year. But then Kevin Durant and Nurk. And so then you add some girth and size with Royce O'Neal and Roddy. And
big body
Roddy.
Yeah.
I mean, you still got Drew Eubanks in there as well, Eric Gordon. You know, looking at this Suns team, they do look like they're taking these small steps to becoming better and better. I still would like to see it all on the floor and them execute late in games and everything. So yeah,
And they are right now 4.5 games out of the 4th spot in the NBA's Western Conference. They are just they're tied with the Pelicans in that deal. In the standings. I'm saying deal. I'm mixing up terms because I'm reading. I'm getting alerts on my phone. One update from Sham. Suns retain assets after this 3-team deal for O'Neal and Roddy, including a second rounder and pick swaps. Hey, Sham, here's my advice for Shams. Just put out the deal crystal clear. I mean, you put out 18 tweets, and then we have to, cut it out and piece it all together. Make it nice and clean like Woj.
Yeah, don't you know everyone's doing an
team,
NBA trade deadline live show today, and that everyone doesn't want to read every single tweet? God.
No, it's just hard to follow. I mean, for anybody, it's not about being a live show. Woj puts out the team, what they receive. Team, what they receive. Team, what they receive. Not like 18 tweets like, oh, wait, so this goes here, this goes here. I need a goddamn diagram behind me to pinpoint and put everything together.
I just wish he reported just like Woj. Ugh, so annoyed.
All right, so how about the Phoenix Suns, man? Getting Roddy and Royce O'Neal, that's a nice aggressive move. I like that. Good job by the Phoenix Suns.
Yep. Adding, another Western Conference team, adding, tweaking. All these little tweaks. These are, again, I'm not acting like if the Kings today made some tweak for David Roddy, I'm not
sure,
just going, oh my gosh, this is the tweak I needed to see. I think when we look at this Kings team and we look at where they can improve, it really is with their length and having longer guys. What?
Sham's also noting that Phoenix now has 2 roster spots open. He's got to break it up over 17 tweets, just so you know. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Let's get 15,000 subs. We are here for the NBA trade deadline. It's our favorite day of the year, next to NBA free agency and Christmas Eve. I'm Deuce Mason. That's Morgan Reagan. We are based in Sacramento with eyes on Sacramento. What the hell is happening but around the league? Could the Golden State Warriors make a move today, Morgan Reagan? There's talk about Andrew Wiggins. Oh no, does anyone want to take that swing? That would be a big swing for a guy who's not playing well. Do they make a move on the fringes? They've got Chris Paul's big expiring contract. Is there a move out there that they want to move with that? We'll see what they end up doing. We're keeping an eye on what the Atlanta Hawks end up doing. Could Bogey be on the move? Could DeJounte Murray be on the move? What's Washington doing? Tyus Jones, is he getting moved? Is Kuzma on the move? We will find out in the next 90-plus minutes.
Jonathan in our chat says Suns will sign Joe Harris. Just watch it happen.
I think we do have some updates to get to, though, with our very own insider, if you're ready to go, Morgan.
Yeah.
This is very important. We have to check in with someone who is locked in. He is ready to go. It's NBA trade deadline. We go to the brother of Adrian Wojnarowski. Welcome to the show, Adam Wojnarowski.
Deuce and Mo, thank you so much for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here. Boy, this really, we all thought this was going to be a quiet morning, but it has exploded.
Yeah? What do we have? Do you have more?
I think you did a great job of covering everything, but I do want to address something before we begin. I know in years past, first of all, it's great to be out of the studio and come and be in with you guys and your quaint little podcast, of course. But, I see in the chat, I see in the comments when I pop up on screen, there tends to be a lot of, can we get back to the real stuff? I see a lot of comments will say cringe. Probably some comments popping up right now, can we please get back to, and I just want to say I've reformed. I'm here. I am ready to talk my winners and losers of the day so far.
Whoa! Wow. Wait, I've never had Adam Wojnarowski be so serious. I'm a little scared. I feel like he's really polished up, trying to be a little bit more like his brother, maybe. Either way, we're really glad to have you here, and I would love to hear your. Should we start with winners?
Yeah, let's go with winners first.
Please.
Let's start there, Mo. Thanks so much for throwing it to me. I think one of the big winners of the day so far, you got to look at what the Knicks have done. Improve the roster significantly, adding Bogdanovic, the three-point shooting. We all knew that the defense was going to be there for the Knicks, but now you've added a piece that can stretch the floor. You've added a veteran presence, too. He can get you a bucket in the playoffs. Another winner of the day. I really like what the Pacers did here. Getting rid of Hield gives them a lot more flexibility. They took on that big Siakam contract, going to give them a lot more flexibility moving forward. We'll get to my losers column in just a second. But I also think the Mavs are also a winner here today. The Mavs really.
Cigarette? Are you smoking a cigarette?
I thought you were a vape guy. You're not a vape guy. You actually like cigarettes.
I'm sorry. Are we not allowed to smoke on the here?
You're in a studio. You are in a studio, Woj.
I didn't know it was ESPN. Nobody here right now.
All right, fine. Smoke. Do your thing. Continue.
Okay, thanks. Well, let's get to my losers. I don't like what the 76ers did here. The addition of Hield, it's a short-sighted move. Everybody knows that the cap flexibility moving forward in the next couple of years is going to be.
What was is
banana?
that? Wait, are you eating a banana with the peel? wait.
I'm confused. What do you mean?
That's how you eat a banana?
That's not how you eat a banana?
No, you peel the thing.
You are the dumbest.
Wait, no. You're not. Woj. Okay, just eat the banana like the weirdo, whatever you're doing. Continue. Losers, go.
Well, now my mouth is full of banana. So.
You like the taste.
Oh, and he's smoking while banana is in his mouth. This is, I at first I was like, wait, has Woj taken a turn and actually become like this real journalist that is able to report and cover? And now he's showing me exactly his true colors.
I think he's throwing up. Oh, Jesus.
Well, now you've got me second guessing my are you not supposed to eat the peel?
What? No, you peel.
It's called a banana peel. You know why? Because you peel the.
Well, here we go, and now the comments are going to be flooding in. This is stupid. This is cringe. What is this guy doing here? And if you would have just let me eat my banana, I could have gotten to my losers column.
Well, okay. Get to your losers column.
Are the Kings
All
on
right.
there yet?
Ooh.
Well, let's talk about the Kings. There's a couple tweets I've seen out there. There's a couple insiders who are saying that the Kings are going to be that they're going to be quiet here. I tend to think the exact opposite. What I'm hearing out of Kings front office is terms like fire sale,
What?
clearance sale, 50% off.
Everything?
Everything must go. That's what I'm hearing.
You have a source?
I have a source. Yes, I have. I literally have one source, and that's what I'm hearing.
Is it Coach Nick?
Yes.
Well,
Did he say why not several times while telling you why not sell everything?
Are you eating
Why
another
not-
banana?
Oh, well,
Jeez. Adam, can we check back in with you in a few minutes to see if you have any other updates? Oh,
yeah.
he's locked
Let's
in.
check back.
Okay, all right.
I got it.
There's Adam Wojnarowski, the brother of Woj, checking in. Oh my God.
Like he wonders why we say these things about him. But I'll tell you this:
Yeah.
a lot smarter than last time.
It's kind of offensive when you say it like that.
What do you? I mean, he
As if
usually-
he's dumb. He works
No,
hard for
no,
his info.
he usually-
It may not be right, but he has info. It's not always good,
It's not always great.
but you know what? The guy works hard.
Why not smoke a banana? Someone says. Yeah, I mean, the guy is smoking and eating bananas with peels.
Have you ever had a tasted
A
a banana?
No, and he just I almost threw up.
Wait, I didn't think a banana peel was that easy to eat. How old's that banana?
Who know, with a little nicotine on top.
It's gotta be like 4 weeks old. Banana peels are not easy. You've ripped them. You feel them, right? They're strong.
Yeah, no, that was disgusting.
You just bite into it and just eat.
Hopefully he's not eating anything the next time he comes
My
on.
God, we are officially 90 minutes away from the NBA's trade deadline. Sources wondering, could the Kings front office have their cell phones completely turned off? Did they not pay their bill? Are their phones working at this hour?
There's 90 minutes.
Okay.
There's 90 minutes.
90 minutes to go.
I mean, you know what? I'm telling myself that because I think if you look around the league at so many different fan bases, again, I keep going to the Los Angeles Lakers fan base and I go, they've got to be going, okay, 90 minutes. What's going on? Why isn't it happening? Why aren't there moves being made? We got LeBron being, healthy out there on the floor. AD actually healthy on the floor. There needs to be some change. So I get why there are people scared thinking that their front offices have their phones on silent and or off right now. But I only imagine that things are still happening as we're 90 minutes away.
Oh, I need a move. I think everybody needs a move for the Sacramento Kings. Let us know in the chat how you're feeling. If you have not done it yet, hit the thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed. We are less than 90 minutes away. If you need a recap of what has gone down today, I can give it to you. And I realize I haven't been using my music for it. When I used to use my CNN election music.
Oh, okay.
I feel like that brought so much life to it.
Yeah.
Do I even try to do that?
Sure, do you, man?
I have to get it ready.
Oh, I thought you just had it.
I should have had it ready. It's been a minute, and that's a turnover by me. I just like it.
Because now one of these are going to be like, they're going to cut off in the middle of it or something.
And if we don't know if it's good or not, if it's actually the good stuff or not. Let's see if this is actually the music. No, that's not it.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
forget it.
Forget it.
Let's give you the trade updates. Less than 90 minutes away the morning. I woke up. I had my phone on. How sick am I? I'm not a normal human being. Not only did I have my alerts on, I had my volume up just in case Shams or Woj dropped something on me. And the first thing I saw, Buddy Hield going to the Philadelphia 76ers. Seems like they've been after him for years. The Pacers make a deal sending Buddy Hield to the Sixers. He's on an expiring deal. The Pacers, in return, get Marcus Morris, Korkmaz, and 3 second-round picks. so they finally get some more shooting in Philly. What's that going to look like when Embiid returns? And for the Pacers, a little bit of a chemistry hit, but it opens the door up for Benedict Mathurin. Let that guy loose. He's a dog. We also saw Utah and Toronto make a deal today. Toronto's been active. What are they trying to do? Well, they got someone from Canada. Kelly Olynyk leaving the Utah Jazz along with his teammate Ochai Agbaji, who spent some time with the Salt Lake City Stars in the G League. He heads to the Raptors in exchange for Kyra Lewis, Otto Porter, and a 2024 first-round pick that's supposed to be really late right now at the 29th spot. The OKC Thunder. Some people wondering, are they going to take a big swing? They did not, but they did make a deal today with the Charlotte Hornets, sending Trey Mann, Davis Bertans, and Mizic to the Hornets in exchange for Gordon Hayward, who's on an expiring deal, $30 million expiring deal. Morgan, that may make some sense for them. Get a vet in there that knows how to play the right way, and his deal's expiring. And that is a no-brainer.
Bertans was in that. Go on.
How about the Knicks? The Knicks were active today. Not only did they get Daniel House, get some defense from the Sixers. Sixers trying to cut some space because it sounds like they want to get Lowry if he gets bought out. So the Knicks get Daniel House, but they weren't done. They made a deal with the Pistons today, getting Bojan Bogdanovic along with Alec Burks, who returns to the Knicks in his second stint in exchange for Malachi Flynn, Quentin Grimes, Evan Fournier, 2 seconds, and Ryan Arcidiacono. How about Dallas? Dallas looking to be aggressive. They want to be in the playoffs. They didn't make the playoffs last year after making that trade for Kyrie Irving at last deadline. Today, they sent Rashawn Holmes and draft compensation to the Wizards, and they land Daniel Gafford, a legit rim protector. Yeah, he gets some foul trouble sometimes, but some good insurance behind Derek Lively. Toronto wasn't done. They land Spencer Dinwiddie from the Brooklyn Nets in exchange for Dennis Schroeder and Thaddeus Young. We also learned that Joe Harris is going to be waived by the Pistons. And how about Dallas? They stayed aggressive too. They make another deal that some would say, is it too aggressive? They got better now, but they land PJ Washington and 2 second-rounders from the Charlotte Hornets in exchange for Grant Williams, who signed with Dallas over the offseason, Seth Curry, and a first-round pick. That first-round pick from Dallas will be a 2027 first-round pick, just top 2 protected. What could that look like in years to come? And then the latest trade that we just had moments ago, a 3-team deal with the Nets, the Suns, the Grizzlies. It's confusing, but here's what you do need to know. The Suns got better. They land Royce O'Neal from the Nets, and they add big body David Roddy from the Memphis Grizzlies. That's where we stand right now at 10:35 a.m. Pacific time. What else is in store? The alerts are on. We're locked in. It's Deuce Mason. It's Morgan Reagan. This is the NBA trade deadline. Woo!
I'm pumped.
I am pumped, but Morgus,
That's
is that your name? I combined Morgan and nervous.
Oh, really?
I'm Morgus.
I'm Morgus.
Morgus?
Oh,
I'm nervous.
don't be.
I'm nervous.
I mean, I don't know how to look, there's other teams. And this, I mean, let me go back to this. PJ Washington.
Yeah.
How much the Charlotte Hornets had to dangle in front of the Mavs to be like, give me this, and this, just to get PJ Washington there, right? Like, I think there are a lot of front offices that are willing to do those things. In some ways, I would feel comfortable giving up a lot to get someone, especially like in this time.
Yeah.
When you get closer and closer and you're like, you just want to see a tweak. You just want to see a little bit of change, some moves. So then maybe you see some improvement. And I think at the end of the day, that is what you're going to start to see teams do. A lot of the sellers out there are going to be dangling and like, oh, you're desperate. These are going to become like these little fear trades now. So you're going to want to make these trades because you're going to want to make everyone happy. And it's not even about making a fan base happy. For some of these GMs and organizations, I think it's just about making a lot of their bosses happy and like being in that headline and having a different narrative. And that shouldn't be the case. That shouldn't matter at all. But at the same time, that's just how this business goes.
My biggest question for Dallas is going to be, what is the ceiling with the group you put together with Gafford? I imagine he'll come off the bench. You got Kyrie. You got Luka. Tim Hardaway's been a candidate for 6th Man of the Year this year, and now you add PJ Washington. They made upgrades, but is it worth the? Is the juice worth the squeeze? Right? Giving up that top 2-1, I'm a little like.
Well, you'll find out. It'll be a what if.
Yeah, no, it will be. It's something to watch in the years to come. 2027 top 2 protected pick going to the Hornets. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us. We will be here the entire way. If you've not done it yet, hit the thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed as we chase 15,000 subs. Someone, Dalton in the chat, saying that Pat Beverly has a bomb. Patrick Beverly is tweeting at this hour.
What?
We'll find out what it is.
If he got this over Adam Wojnarowski?
No, he broke his own news. He broke his own news, and Woj is confirming it. Patrick Beverly has been traded to the Milwaukee Bucks.
Oh, my God. Get out.
To the Milwaukee Bucks. We're waiting to hear Pat Bev to Milwaukee.
Wait, he tweeted out his own news?
Dude, Philly must know they're getting Kyle Lowry, right? They have to know. Milwaukee is acquiring Patrick Beverly from the Sixers for Cam Payne and a 2nd-round pick. Pat Beverly. All right. I love that Pat Bev. I'm trying to find his Twitter to see.
I know, same. I'm
Patrick Beverly.
Why is my internet going?
Oh no, is it not working?
It's just.
Is it just Twitter?
It's just Twitter then.
Okay. If we have a mess up during the stream, I will lose my mind.
Yeah, it's just Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah.
As we wait for more, my producer right now. Let me just double check here.
Yeah.
Okay. What? I'm getting word, Adam Wojnarowski. Okay, there could be an update here. Here, Adam, I mean, we are approaching about an hour to go.
Yeah.
Just curious what you are forecasting at this point.
Deuce, we've got rains coming in about...
Wait,
hold
we
on.
lost connection. I'm sorry.
Oh my God,
where are you right now? What?
Yeah, Jim, stay over there, Jim. I want you to keep clear of the high water mark, Jim. We've got water coming in everywhere. Right now, at this point, we're worried about landslides. We're worried about debris flow. Everybody needs to stay off of the 80. We've got water coming down, and now the county is telling us that the water level is getting too high.
Wait,
water level is getting
Adam?
too high.
I said the forecast, like the trade forecast. I did. You're.
Am I on Deuce and Mo?
Yeah,
you're,
you do weather on the side?
Who'd you think you were with?
Sorry, I'm also trying to pay the rent. I'm doing weather. Well, sorry. Gosh. Okay.
Well, I mean.
Oh God, the banana.
Okay.
Okay, can I tell you that Patrick Beverly broke his own news? That was why weren't you on that?
This is a revolutionary moment in sports history, folks. The breaking of news in media is probably the most important topic in sports journalism today.
Oh, wow.
Patrick Beverly, excuse me.
Oh, sorry.
While I swallow this.
Oh, okay.
That is an old banana.
No.
That is a very soft peel.
Okay, real fast. How many bananas have you had today?
I have had 9. I've had 9 bananas.
Including the peel.
Including the peel.
Okay.
So maybe 11 bananas.
Proceed with your talk about the Patrick Beverly breaking his own news.
If the players are going to start reporting their own news, it makes the likes of my ilk, one would say obsolete. So at some point, the commissioner has to step in here. We cannot have these players divulging what's happening to them in real time. There has to be a line. Something has to be done, and I'm calling on Adam Silver to step up.
And?
I don't know.
Okay, that's fair.
Well, Adam, you have 437 followers. So, like, I don't see how this is really affecting you.
I think it's 437,000.
No, 400. You follow 6 people, and you have 437 followers. That's it. Under 500 followers.
Why are we taking shots at his following?
We're not. My point is he's talking about this being a big deal and how it's affecting the landscape. How can he say this if his following is only under 500? Either more people need to start following and you need to break the news before Patrick Beverley, or you're going to be stuck as a weather guy forever.
Well, first of all, there's nothing wrong with being a weather guy. Second of all, would you rather get the correct information out to 437 people, or would you rather get the correct information out to more people? I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand what...
2 hours ago, you tweeted out breaking. Multiple teams around the league are inquiring about the availability of second-round picks. We'll see how many second-round picks get moved as we get closer to the deadline.
Well, guess what? I'll be honest. We've seen a lot of second-round picks.
You're
the
sticking up for
Nets.
Adam?
I mean, we're just breaking this down. I saw Detroit, New York, a couple of second-round picks went in that deal. The list goes up. We saw 3 seconds go on the Philly, Indiana deal. This guy knows what he's talking about.
Smug ass.
Someone
face.
get me a goddamn banana with a peel.
No,
I'm on board with this asshole.
You know, I've got a lot of these old bananas, Deuce. You want to come on over to the studio sometime? Yeah, second round picks. That's the hot ticket item of the day. And I'm not going to say that we're done seeing second round picks, but at a certain point, the NBA has got to step in here. We need more rounds. We need third rounds.
I agree. Adam, we appreciate you so much, man. If you have anything else, we'll check back in with you. If not, we hope you, I know you got to cover the weather and all that. Good luck with everything.
Thanks, Deuce and Mo. Stay dry today.
Oh, okay. Thanks. You can follow him on Twitter as well. It's at Woj, Deuce and Mo.
Makes sense.
Totally makes sense. Adam Wojnarowski, everybody.
We do have one other update on a serious note. Our buddy Harry Giles just got waived by the Nets.
No.
A trade deadline casualty as Harry Giles, who made it back to the league, got a contract with Brooklyn, got waived. That's according to Chris Haynes.
Okay. I mean, look, you know this is going to be a part of his journey going forward as he continues to try and be part of an NBA roster, and you want to see it for him. I mean, this is a guy that just came when he was just in Sacramento with the Nets, and the crowd is just roaring for this guy. Everybody wants this guy to succeed. And if he doesn't get to succeed in the NBA, he will be successful no matter what he chooses to do. Just such a good human.
As successful as Adam Wojnarowski, I feel like this guy's going to turn the page a little bit. He
Which
feels
guy?
confident.
Oh, Adam?
I mean, he's doing weather now.
Well, he needs to not do both.
He
on
nailed
NBA.
the second round pick shit.
Deuce.
He was right. There were moves made. There's second round. And the confidence to just eat a banana in that way. I don't know if it's confidence or just ignorance, but he ate 9 bananas with a peel.
Look, when we had him on our live show last year, he had an entire breakdown of how to stop Klay Thompson in the playoffs. And it had nothing to do with being on the floor. It was Operation Stop Klay Thompson. We have his operation back on our wall. It's
It was
up.
ambushing
It
Klay
was
Thompson's
ambushing
boat. Yeah.
Klay Thompson's boat. I mean, that can't be the right thing to do. No.
We do have an update, Morgan. Wow. We just saw him last night. The Pistons are waiving Killian Hayes. Hayes gets waived.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that is interesting. I wonder.
So we're seeing a lot of players waived. Remember, he was the 7th pick of the draft. Of course, last night he absolutely destroyed the Kings. He had 8 points, 9 assists, carved them up, got to the paint anytime he wanted.
What are they trying to do? I mean, he's 22 years old.
He just wasn't. No one wanted him.
No, I know. I'm just interesting. Do you think you see someone, I know you and I talked about this off air, but like someone like Zach LaVine, who is obviously going to have surgery on his foot. He's going to be out 4 to 6 months. We all know his health history. Do you ever see a team like the Pistons going in on that and just
gambling and just like taking on his salary, not giving up? Yeah, I could see maybe. I don't think it's the best move, but
I don't either.
It does because of where they stand right now. I mean, like, you add Zach LaVine, what's it do? The Pistons just need to surround some of the young guys with some vets that know what they're doing, but like just keep developing. That's the biggest thing. And seeing Jay and Ivy last night, he looked pretty good for the Pistons, 37 points against the Sacramento Kings. I do have an update. This is from Chris Haynes, not a trade, but there is an update about the Lakers. And as we approach an hour and 13 minutes before the deadline, Haynes says the probable path for the Lakers is standing pat at the deadline with the potential to acquire another star player in the offseason when armed with 3 first-round picks, according to Chris Haynes. Now, cute idea. LeBron also has a player option. He could say, dip, 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 I'm going to New York and joining the Knicks or something like that. But I don't know. So it sounds like the Lakers, there's not a move for them right now. You had heard rumors in recent weeks, maybe they'd shop D'Angelo Russell, who is not playing well. He started to play well. There was talk that they would shop Gabe Vincent, who they signed over the offseason. And he's dealt with a ton of injuries this year. He hasn't been right. You've heard him linked to DeJounte Murray. But as we approach the final hour of the deadline, it looks like they may stand pat.
Interest. I mean, you look at their roster and you just go, okay, it's just not enough. It's not enough to be the Western Conference contenders. You know,
Right.
it's and even looking at what Anthony Davis has been able to accomplish this year, and that's still not being enough to translate into W's. I think if you are part of the Lakers fan base, you're feeling it today, especially when your standards are so much higher than if you're obviously in the Sacramento Kings fan base, because you're still looking for one step at a time if you are a Sacramento Kings fan, right? You have to understand, like, you're just not going to take you don't have a Kevin Durant, you don't have a LeBron James. You're trying to go the path of developing a team in the right way, where the Lakers are trying to win now while they have a LeBron healthy, an AD healthy, and then if you're not making any moves to win now, you're feeling it today.
Are you getting nervous at all?
I feel like you are, because you've asked me that twice in the last 26 minutes.
Yeah. Just, there's a lot of teams making deals. The Kings have not made a deal yet. As we are getting closer, can I just ask for a prediction? Do you think they're making a deal now based on how things are tracking?
How much time's left? I like when you do this.
There is an hour and 11 minutes until the deadline.
Yes, I think they'll be making a move.
For who? Just kidding. Yeah, I don't know.
I wish Adam Wojnarowski knew who the Kings were going to be making a move for, but yeah, it's nobody knows. It's I feel like nothing's been coming out except the little bit that Sam Amick had.
Yeah, Sam Amick reported earlier today in The Athletic that their interest in Kuzma has been overstated. They haven't had conversations with the Wizards in months about Kuzma, and that they do have interest in DeLon Wright, who is still available from Washington. Royce O'Neal, who is now in Phoenix with the Suns. Dorian Finney-Smith was another name that was mentioned by Sam Amick. There are just so many teams out there that could be making moves. The one team that seems like they could be standing pat too is Portland. I was like, what is Portland trying to do with that squad, right? They're not good, but in recent weeks, Malcolm Brogdon, who looked like a trade candidate, said, no, I'm cool. I like being in Portland.
Yeah.
It sounds like Jeremy Grant's kind of content being there. Now, that doesn't mean that the GM can't trade you, but they seem like a team that could cash out on some of these guys because they're not like winning right now. At this point, nothing's happened with Portland.
Yeah, Portland was a team that I think here's the two teams. Portland and Chicago were two teams that I felt like we thought going into the NBA trade deadline that they were going to be sellers. There was going to be a lot of pieces being moved around, not sure what they're trying to do. What are they trying to create maybe around Scoot Henderson and his future? But like what they have going on doesn't seem like the worst thing in the world, but it's also not going to be sustainable for the future in the Western Conference, right? Like you do need to upgrade. You do need to make sure, for example, DeAndre Ayton, I think is someone that you just still are seeing have some nights where he looks great. And then other nights where you're like, this isn't enough. this is what they had even when they had like Nurk, for example. I felt like at times it was like they just traded two bigs that were obviously different games, but kind of producing the same amount out there, where Nurk actually seems like he is finding more of a way around guys like Kevin Durant and Devin Booker.
Suns got better today, too.
They did. They did.
David Roddy and Royce O'Neal.
And it's, again, it's not about like the reason why, if those two pieces, okay, if David Roddy was just moved to the Sacramento Kings and that was the tweak, that would not make the Kings better today. The reason why I think when we look at the Suns and we go, why it made them better, because they had a lot of different, I don't want to discredit their depth.
The
Because
depth sucked.
the depth just
sucked.
it wasn't that great.
They
okay?
had to fill out their roster with minimum guys, and it puts them in a tough spot. So, yeah, I mean, it just wasn't ideal for the team that's trying to win a championship. I hear you on that. I think Royce O'Neal would have definitely made the Kings
And
better. That's the one that you're like,
yes.
damn, you were interested in him. Could you have landed him? How come that couldn't have worked out?
Couple
So,
second round picks.
dude,
That's what kills me today.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the one thing Adam Wojnarowski was right about. A lot of second round picks here being tossed around. And if that's the case, why couldn't have that been it? Why couldn't have that been the Sacramento Kings making that deal? Again, it takes two to tango. I don't know why.
man, it's hard to yeah, I understand the two to tango thing, right? You can't force a team to make a deal, but God, I mean, when you see all these teams make a deal, you're like,
You can't.
You can make a deal.
You can't, but I also think about the end of the day too, Deuce. You know how relationship based this league is. And when there's 2 second rounders involved, I go, do these people know each other? Who do they know? Who do they know in the front office that got them and led them to make that deal? Because otherwise then I'm asking, okay, why wouldn't that deal just be done for the Kings? Then I just have to push in my mind that there had to be something more like a relationship behind the scene or whatever.
Or hey, you could also just acknowledge he's not getting it done. You got to get a deal done.
Yeah.
Like it's like it can't always be like, oh, hey man, just weren't able to get something done. It's like it's like we talk about with players more. We talk about players. They have to get the job. They got to make shots. All right. Your job is to make moves. Like that's the whole purpose of it. So.
I think sometimes too, you want to make sure you're not doing anything out of fear. But if you're messing with second rounders, I mean, what's that? What's the biggest risk there? Yeah, you can lose a few second rounders, some draft picks, but at the same time, you are trusting in what you are trading those for, into the right now, into what to make the roster better right now and not just in the future. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's frustrating. It's getting, as we get closer to it almost being an hour away from trade deadline. I love that you get to see our energy and our emotions in the beginning of today to now an hour and 5 and the Kings haven't made a trade. I'm good. Are you good? Because I'm good.
There's still time, right? There's still time. It's like what I joked about like an hour and a half ago. I'm like, it's going to be one of those moments that if they don't make a deal and it's 12:01, I'm like, yeah, but it just hasn't leaked out yet. It just hasn't happened. It could.
I'm so curious what other fan bases are feeling right now. And when I say that, I think I'm mostly in my head, because we're in the Western Conference covering the Kings, I think of the Lakers and I think of the Warriors even. Because you think about how vicious and weird Warriors fans are. And no offense if there's any in here and you're actually a good person. But like, there's so many like weird ones that are just, they live in this world of winning for so long that any sight of losing, it becomes so foreign, and it's like, no, but Steph Curry's still on the team. Like our golden guy is still here. We can't see that. We can't have that. So I can't imagine that if they don't make any moves, that Warriors fans today are going to be okay with that.
No, they won't be okay either. They won't be. If you have not done it yet, can you please hit the thumbs up and subscribe? Deuce Mason, Morgan Reagan, hanging out for our NBA trade deadline stream. An annual tradition, unlike any other. We do it for free agency. The NBA draft, that will now be 2 days this year. And then today with the NBA trade deadline. We are approaching 1 hour to go. Will more moves be made across the league? You have to imagine some get done. But now it's gone quiet as we approach the final hour. Are these reporters just waiting till around 11? Is Woj waiting until like 11:02 when he's on TV and he could talk about some of these deals? Some of these shows are starting. Is this when a flurry of moves will happen, or is it just quiet? Are the Magic making a move? Are the Bulls? We've heard so many names: Caruso, Torrey, Craig, DeMar DeRozan's expiring deal. Could they be doing anything? Sounds like the Lakers could be content on standing pat. We've seen other deals happen today. Some of the contending teams making a little bit of some tweaks, from the Sixers to the Knicks to the Bucks. Celtics made a move yesterday. We also have an update on that 3-team deal, according to Shams Charania. Yuta Watanabe is going to be involved in that deal. He signed with the Suns in the offseason. He is going to be a part of that deal to go to the Memphis Grizzlies. Golly. This is why I'm going to complain about Shams again. Shams puts out a deal, and it's so confusing. Try to follow this one, okay? So that 3-team deal we told you earlier about with Memphis, Brooklyn, right? Was it Memphis, Brooklyn, and the Suns?
Okay.
It sounds like in that deal, Memphis is going to get Yuta Watanabe. The Suns are sending out more salaries too. We don't know where they're going. They are trading Keita Bates-Diop in that deal, Jordan Goodwin, and Chimezie Metu in that deal. Where, we don't know.
Okay.
We do know that Roddy and Royce O'Neal will be landing with the Phoenix Suns. So, look, from the Suns' perspective, they take some guys on minimum deals over the offseason.
That they need, by the way, they needed to fill this roster.
They needed to. And they took a chance on some guys going, maybe they could be good fits here. Yeah. And then they make a pivot at the deadline and go, all right, we'll trade some of these to a team that's obviously going in a different direction than Memphis. And we'll acquire a couple of guys that can help us now in David Roddy and Royce O'Neal. A fantastic move, I think, by the Phoenix Suns. The next thing I'm curious about, too, is Memphis done? I mean, they have sold a lot of guys, from Tillman, Roddy, Steven Adams. Could they be making more moves at the deadline?
Yeah, for them, I mean, what would be their moves? I mean, it feels like their roster is completely different than if you were to look at it, obviously, to last year.
Could they move on from a Marcus Smart? I don't know. Those are going to be.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, they have gone completely. Ja Morant's out for the year. They're going tank. We'll just make this the lost year and kind of recalibrate and go from there.
My gosh. Yeah, it's very interesting when you see some of these teams that have really taken a hit with the health bug, especially after being so excited. I mean, you look at, was it 2 years ago that the Charlotte Hornets were really looking like that fun team? Yeah. It was fun story. They were the team to watch on NBA League Pass. And you see how quickly it can go away. Do you need to go?
No, I was going to let you finish. I was going to get some coffee.
Oh,
as
please.
We approach 1 hour to go. Do you need more too?
Could you just warm this up? Thanks.
Oh my God. The shit I have to do around here.
Anyway, so yeah, looking at that and like thinking about them in that window where they were like this fun team. Oh my gosh, they got things going. A few health bug here and there, whatever. Things shift. Then a coach gets fired. Just shit changes fast. And Deuce and I were talking about this last night after the shitty Pistons loss for the Sacramento Kings. And we're like, God, you just think about last year and how fun every single game was. Even in a loss, there were times where it's like, but this went well, and this was well, and this went well. Where there's been too many losses like last night where it's like you take a step back and you go, there needs to be change. And that's where the NBA trade deadline comes in. February 8th comes in. And you go, this is the opportunity for these teams to make these tweaks to actually see that change, to benefit from this. Players, individuals get a benefit. I know there's a lot of individuals and players that have to move their entire lives. But sometimes it really helps create a new happy place for them in their career as well, and at least that's what I hope I put in the back of my mind whenever I talk about all this, because I want to humanize the situation when we're talking about a whole bunch of people just being moved left and right. But yeah, I think ultimately why when we look at the Sacramento Kings too and we go, well, everything was fun last year, and you want that fun, that joy to continue. You need to make the right moves because you also have to make sure you have the right type of culture guys on your team, the right type of personalities on your team that aren't just going to really screw with what Mike Brown wants. And what Mike Brown really wants is Domas and De'Aaron get all the freedom in the world. Everyone else, be disciplined, do your job the right way, or it's going to be a short leash. And so that's where I just come along the lines with, look, if you have the tweaks along the depth to have the right guys out there, then at least you're not worried when the leashes are short. So then the next guy up, you're not going, oh man, it's poor Kessler Edwards who only sees DMPs and then gets to play like 1 or 2 games in this month and has to actually produce within those games. It's just really hard for some of these players to do when you're that tier of player.
We are less than 1 hour away from the NBA's trade deadline. Will the Sacramento Kings make a move? They have done nothing yet here at the trade deadline, and there's been a flurry of moves this morning, starting with Philly and Indiana, Morgan. Buddy Hield got shipped to the Sixers in exchange for Morris, Korkmaz, and 3 second-round picks. That started us off this morning, and they weren't done in the NBA. Toronto adds Kelly Olynyk and Ochai Agbaji in exchange for Kyra Lewis, Otto Porter, and a 2024 first-round pick going to the Utah Jazz. OKC, what a year they've had this year. Top 4 in the NBA's Western Conference. In a good spot just to gain experience, but they added someone who could help them, if healthy, this year on an expiring deal. Gordon Hayward goes from the Hornets to OKC in exchange for Trey Mann, Davis Bertans, and Mizic. The Knicks were active. A couple of moves. They added Daniel House and a second-round pick from the 76ers. They also made a trade with the Pistons today for Bojan Bogdanovic and Alec Burks in exchange for Malachi Flynn, Quint Grimes, Evan Fournier, 2 second-round picks, and Ryan Arcidiacono. Then Dallas, how about this move? They trade Rashawn Holmes and draft compensation to the Washington Wizards for Daniel Gafford, adding some depth behind that rookie. Derek Lively, a good move for the Dallas Mavericks. The Raptors weren't done either today. After making a trade for Olynyk and Agbaji, they add Spencer Dinwiddie's expiring deal from the Nets in exchange for Dennis Schroeder and Thaddeus Young. We should note that the Pistons waived a couple of players today, including Joe Harris and Killian Hayes. The Hornets and Mavs made a deal today. This is a big one. PJ Washington is headed to the Dallas Mavericks along with a couple of second-round picks. The Hornets get Grant Williams, who just signed with Dallas over the offseason, along with Seth Curry, and a 2027 Dallas first-round pick that is just top 2 protected. That could be fascinating to watch in coming years for the Hornets. Then we saw a 3-team deal between the Nets, the Grizzlies, and the Suns. Big picture-wise, at the moment, what we do know is that the Suns got better. They added Royce O'Neal from Brooklyn and big body David Roddy from the Memphis Grizzlies. It looks like they're moving on from Kate Bates-Diop, from Jordan Goodwin, Yuta Watanabe, and Chimezie Metu. We don't know where all those pieces are going at this moment. And Pat Bev broke his own news on his podcast Twitter page. Patrick Beverley has been traded from the Sixers to the Milwaukee Bucks in exchange for campaign and a second-round pick. That's where we stand right now with 55 minutes to go until the NBA's trade deadline.
Well, I think Yuta Watanabe put a tweet out if you want to go to it really quick. No, go to it on here and show it.
Okay.
Because it was interesting. And I think I shared it otherwise on my profile.
Okay.
Let me just see it. Because I was like, wait, can I read this? Oh, yeah. Okay, wait. No, don't do that. Okay. Show it. Without translating. Okay. I think, so I took Japanese in high school, and I think I can read this. Okay. I think it says, so this is why life is so fun. Do translate. Let's see. Anata wa Morgenstern.
Good bit, Morgan.
Thank
Good
you.
bit. That was a really good bit.
Thank
That's
you.
A good bit. You did not fool me for a second. Yuta Watanabe actually had some time with Memphis on the hustle, too. So he goes back there. So far, early reaction to what I've seen at the trade deadline. I love what the Knicks have done, getting Bogdanovich and Alec Burks. Of course, you got OG already. You got Daniel House. This team's got the toughness, and now they add some shooting. They're going to be a fun team to watch in the East. It's interesting to see what the Sixers are doing. They're just kind of shuffling things. It looks like they're trying to get Kyle Lowry once he becomes available on the buyout market if the Hornets give him up. So they've sold off some pieces today. They move on from Pat Bev. He goes to their competition in Milwaukee. The Bucks are just trying to get something fresh, something different, kind of that dog that they're missing right now in that locker room with, and he knows Doc Rivers a little bit too.
Yeah.
So he goes to the Milwaukee Bucks, but I love what the Knicks are doing. I love what the Knicks are doing. I like what the Suns did today too. The fact that the Suns, who look like they're turning a corner here, kind of piecemealed this team together. Right? They went all in on this group, Beal, KD, and Booker. And we can debate whether or not that was a good decision, right? Or if you're going to bank on KD's health and Beal. And they had to fill out the roster with minimum guys. They turned that in to two guys who can help them now.
I think when you look at the Phoenix Suns and everything that they did in the offseason, the team, the roster that they had together, everyone kept saying, okay, what is it going to look like at the trade deadline, buyout market, all these different things, right? You know, you always expect teams understanding the windows of some of these star players are going to be making those right moves. Well, you're seeing the Suns make some moves, and these moves could lead to some better depth. Absolutely. But then you look at some of these other teams with the stars that also have those small windows, LeBron James, Steph Curry, and you're not seeing those organizations today at trade deadline make those moves. Last year, the Lakers, was it Vanderbilt at the trade deadline?
Yeah, I mean, Russell, they added Rui.
Yep.
I mean, they were aggressive at the deadline, and honestly, the move they should have made would have been. That's interesting. I'm so confused by this. Didn't we saw that Daniel House got traded today from the Sixers to
earlier this morning.
Okay, because now Shams is saying
That was Woj.
Shams is saying that Daniel House is being waived by the Pistons. This is where it gets confusing, where all these pieces are moving and there's conflicting information.
I'm going to look at Woj's page. You look at Shams.
Okay. The Sixers are trading Daniel House and a second-round pick via the Knicks to the Pistons. Oh, my God. That's the confusion.
So 3 hours ago, Woj put out the sentence.
I got it. Daniel House is being waived.
Okay, got
Daniel House is being waived. He was actually the Pistons. I had him going to the Knicks all day today.
Wait, Knicks to the pit. Oh.
Yeah, very clunky explanation. So he got traded to the Pistons from the Sixers. He's going to be getting waived. Actually, that's a name to fall in the buyout market. A contending team could pick him up, and that could be a great pickup. That's a name the Kings have been interested in the past, but the buyout market is a tough competition. That's a really tough competition. So let's clarify something. The Knicks did not get Daniel House in a trade. The trade was this. The Sixers are trading House in a second-round pick via the Knicks to the Pistons, according to ESPN. And now Shams is reporting that Daniel House will not even play for the Pistons. He is being waived. Anyway, I love what the Knicks have done. Shams is saying expect multiple contenders to pursue House in free agency. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like,
Deuce just said that. He reported it first.
I mean, I look at I'd be like, yeah, the Kings should go after a guy like that. But like, all these teams are gonna want him. He's a tough, hard-nosed guy who could defend.
Right.
Yeah, I like what the Suns have done. I think Dallas today. I don't love that 2027 first-round pick that's top 2 protected going out to the Hornets. But you take Rashawn Holmes, who was a non-factor for you. He wasn't. He did not fit, whether or not he got the chance or not. He did not fit in Dallas.
No.
And Grant Williams, the idea of signing Grant Williams, it was fine. Solid player.
Yeah.
He didn't give them what they needed. And they went, fine.
They needed a lot from him too, by the way. I feel like
probably
they needed
too
him.
much.
Exactly.
They asked too much from him.
I agree.
And he's a role player.
That's the thing. I think they wanted him to be so much more, and that's what they signed him to. And it's like, No, that is not who you are. I mean, look at the times that he had the BS antics on the floor because he has to rely on those things. We see Patrick Beverley also have those type of moments out there on the floor. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Sometimes it's a great type of player to have come off your bench and have that type of personality, but not being one of your star players or main players. Yeah, and I think now, like you were just going to the Mavs with Luka, Kyrie, Josh Green, PJ Washington, Derek Lively, and then you go Daniel Gafford coming off the bench right behind Lively.
Love it. And both those guys get in foul trouble, but Gafford can block shots. What is
25 years old.
What's he blocking right now? And he's under club control too. Now, you go, man, well, I mean, do you want a guy making 13, 14 million a year for you when you've got Derek Lively right there? Yeah, it's fine for now. By the way, Gafford this season in 45 games with Washington, 2.2 blocks per game.
Okay, rim protector.
This season in Washington, averaging 11 points, 8 rebounds, and 2.2 blocks, playing 26 and a half minutes per night. So for Dallas, I like that. I mean, Rashawn Holmes wasn't providing that for him. You know what I mean?
Anything? By the way, really quick too, there's so many people here. Thank you so much for being here live. If you guys could just hit that thumbs up, but also make sure you subscribe to our channel, to our page. Just helps us grow. We're trying to get to that 15K. We're just a small business, always trying to grow, and just those little things help. So thank you for supporting us and just being here.
We are close, man. We are close.
Yeah.
250-ish away, I think,
Let's
from
go.
300 the last time I checked. So, or 250 away from 15,000. There's numbers galore. I've got cap space in my mind. I've got second round picks here. I got all the trades in my brain. The basketball mind is locked in. I've got my coffee ready to go. Morgan, Reagan, we are 47 minutes away from the NBA trade deadline.
Getting nervous when you throw that number out
47 minutes. Tick tock, make a trade. It's time to make a move.
Are you trying to do Kesha?
Yeah.
Tick tock, make. I don't know.
Make a trade. Tick tock, make a trade.
Well, you have to kind of rhyme with talk.
Oh my God! Just do it. You're the musician here.
Tick tock, make a move.
Okay.
It's
You
a hard
suck. You
song to make a
suck.
parody to. Like
Oh
what
my
the?
God.
No. You did this last night too. You were trying to throw Fireworks by Katy Perry at me like that. These are very difficult songs.
Baby, I need a firework. Does
Come on.
Monty's phone work? Make it go ring, ring, ring. I should also know, Carlin, the paralyzed pup. Okay, that sounds so dramatic. His back legs don't work. He has a rehab assignment today at 3 p.m. at UC Davis, and I've been waiting because he's just been chilling here like a good boy down there.
Talk to him.
I've had dog bag, a poop bag ready to go.
He can't hold his poo or
Yep.
pee because he can't feel anything in the back part of his body. So hey, just being a good paralyzed pup sitting back there with 2 legs.
Whew. Shout out to everyone being here, as Morgan mentioned. I see Lorraine Fox in the building. Manny Too Legit, Peyton 40, and Niners Media probably feeling good with the Niners playing a Super Bowl game coming up this Sunday. TikTok, you're on the clock. That's
TikTok, you're on the clock.
Thanks, Matt, man.
Make it. I still don't know the lyrics though. Oh, Kesha, make your comeback, please,
Man. Yeah, so it's hard to know with 45 minutes now to go at the NBA trade deadline. It's like, hey, what's it typically like 45 minutes before a deadline? You just don't know. Every deadline has kind of its own identity. But, I mean, these teams have been talking for weeks, okay? A team today, just for context, is not picking up the phone for the first time and going, hey, do you want to trade that guy? Like, these conversations have been happening for months, and this is the time to shit or get off the pot for these GMs. It's like, can we get a deal done or can we not? And so as it gets closer, it's like, dude, who's gonna say yes or no? And that's where it's at.
Here's what I'll say really quick too. When last year, when the Kings didn't really make a move, except Kessler Edwards, you saw that at the trade deadline. I remember feeling like, I really thought I needed to see a move because I saw the Lakers making moves. The Western Conference felt like it was getting better. Really wanted to see a move. It took me like a couple more games of seeing that roster last year in the way that they were playing together to be like, you know what? I'm going to trust with running it with this, bringing this into the playoffs. Let's go. It worked. That was great. This year, I just feel a little different because of the inconsistent buildup of this roster and this team leading into this trade deadline.
Morgan, you have a much larger sample size, right?
Yes.
We've seen
yes.
most of this group now for 140-ish games.
And
play.
I like all these guys. That's the other thing that always makes it tough, too, when you have a team that all like each other. I like all of these guys. It's all that stuff is very difficult about it, but also, I know everyone understands it's the business and changes. And this is the other thing that Mike Bibby said yesterday on the Kings pregame show with me. He was like, hey, but all I remember is that when someone wanted to trade me, that means someone else really wanted me. And
that's a
liked
great
me.
perspective to have for sure if you're an NBA player today. And I mean,
you're wanted.
For the Kings too, I was not expecting some big swing today. I think the big swings have been taken, right? With Pascal, OG, Harden, going back to Dame. But, there's still moves out there, and it doesn't, at this point, look like much is happening. I do want to get to some super chats. Ishmael donating $5. Are you going to go to the wrestling show in Elk Grove? EC3 is going to be there next week on the 17th. Hey, super random, and no, I'm not going to be there. But that's the most random question on the trade deadline. That's cool if you're going to go.
Thank you for that.
Dobby says, hey, here's $5 for Deuce's coffee.
So
Thank you. And also says another $5 for Deuce's double and small shake.
What about
Thank you. Also, shout out to Geeky Nana, always here, gifting 5 subs.
Thank you, Geeky Nana.
Michael donates $2 saying, please bring Woj back. You guys are amazing. Thank you. We appreciate you guys being here. All right. We're going to get through this together, whether the Kings make a move or not.
Thank you for all the donations and just everyone for being here. All the thumbs up. We appreciate all of you.
Sandalo says TikTok trade block. Bring someone who plays D and block. I like that everyone's trying to come up with a Kesha TikTok
trade block. Get someone to play some D and block. My Kesha vocals aren't there. Wake up in the morning feeling like P.
Oh
Diddy.
my God. This is where we're at on the trade deadline night. Enforcer 2K9 says, let's get let me rephrase that. Last night's game proved that this current group just isn't good enough. We have too many laps offensively and defensively, and we're not even as good on offense as we were last year. Yeah, I mean, it's a weird feeling to be around the same record in a tougher conference. Offenses around the league are better. I made this point last night in our Discord. I think when the Kings look good this year, they look better than last year's team. Mm-hmm. But when they look bad, I have to wipe my eyes because I feel like I'm watching Luke Walton's Kings when it looks bad. I'm just being honest. That's where it looks like sometimes. So, I'm patient enough to understand the big picture is like, hey, their big swing can come next offseason. They can be aggressive when they have their picks and they have some contracts to move. But how I look at this deadline with 40 minutes to go, is a move, just a subtle tweak out there, a Dorian Finney-Smith, a DeLon Wright. I would have checked in on Caruso. I think Caruso is going to cost too much for teams around the league. Who knows if the Bulls are serious? Matisse Thybulle, I'd check in on that. Is Portland trying to move him? It just seems crazy that you're not able to get something done. And the move may not alter your entire season, but it can improve maybe some of the areas that you're weak at this point.
Two things. So weird that you bring up Luke Walton too, because he was definitely in my dream the other night. I think after the Kings took on the Cavs, he's on that coaching staff. Number two, you look at all these names that we're mentioning and we're going like, yeah, you're sure that the phone is being picked up and they're calling, they're talking about these guys, seeing what these teams are willing to give up and what they have to give up to get some of these guys. And sometimes it's like right away, click, no, thank you, hang up. But how is there a way to massage some of these deals behind the scenes or like whatever the relationships are with some of these front office guys, with some of these other front offices? I don't know. When you can't get something done, it is frustrating to think about that maybe that's not there.
We may have a poop situation with Carlin.
We've got a paralyzed pup shitting. I repeat, a paralyzed pup shitting. He can't hold it in, guys. Huh? I repeat, he's just getting water. This is a false alarm. He's just getting water.
We'll be ready to go, though.
For all things, trades, shit, anything you got, we're on it.
Maybe I'm picking up the Kings poop at the deadline if they crap the bed, huh? All right, come here. We're going to make a move, and then you pick up the poop, you know?
All right.
Good bit. Prop comic. J Toy 15. If Alex Cruz and Tyus Jones have the same asking price, who would you prefer? Well, yeah, I just don't think that's going to be the case. I mean, Tyus Jones is an expiring deal, $13 million. Caruso's just going to be more expensive. He's got another year left. I think they're going to want more draft compensation. Is that a move that takes you to that next level? And that's the question. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that both of those guys you mentioned would make the Kings better. I mean, Caruso can defend multiple positions, a deflections king. He's improved his shooting this year. I love what he brings to the table. Tyus Jones has been one of the best backup guards in the league for a long time. I think he believes he's more of a starter, but, you know, that's not where he's at this point. I think viewed by other teams. Like, I think he is primed to be more of a really elite backup point guard, but that's just my view.
Caruso, you're saying? Or Tyus Jones?
Tyus Jones.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, again, all these pieces would love to eventually see part of the Sacramento Kings roster. Again, I mean, sometimes I go, what's the point of talking about it? Sometimes it's just fun.
It is. That's what the whole point is. It's just the trade deadline. It's fun to talk about all these things.
Yeah.
Zach says if they could realistically get Grayson Allen, that would be amazing. But I don't see the Suns giving him up. No, the Suns definitely would not.
Not now, especially. No.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, and now, getting a little...
Morgan, I feel like you're getting a little nervous right now. Why are you like stammering and itching your palm? Like, are you good?
Well, my palms are itchy, and I don't know. Does that mean something?
You're nervous.
Is that what that is?
Or you've had too much caffeine. You're nervous. They're
everything. They're tingling. Yeah.
Your hands are tingling at the trade. Hey, Kings, this is what you've done to Morgan. Her hands are tingling when we're talking about the Kings, and she's itching them. She is nervous. Don't do this deal for anyone else but her at this point. Give her something.
Please, my palms are itchy. Please. Yeah. I don't know how to feel. You know what makes me sad about all this is that sometimes hearing the different fan bases, like the Kings fan base and then the Warriors fan base and the Lakers fan base, obviously at noon when the deadline, everything ends. It's just like a lot of pissed off people, and that energy I just can't stand. And that's why I'm just like, oh, I know it's don't just make a move to make a move, but can we just please tweak something so then we can see some growth and see something that's going to benefit this roster and this team just going into the future? I just
also,
feel like
some
they
fresh,
need to be made. What?
Some fresh energy would be good.
That's and that's
just
not
an injection of that.
Not like obviously not shitty energy. You're not looking for a type of personality that's going to screw with what you have going on. And I think that's what I really like about the Kings front office is that is high on their list of things when they look at guys and their character and what they can bring there as well. Like their work ethic, all those things. Love that because Mike Brown's going to make you work. He's like a college coach in some ways. It's like you are practicing almost every single day, even after you come home from long road trips, even though I don't think they did after the 7-game road trip where they were on the road for 2 weeks. Thank God. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to find those guys, but sometimes you got to take those chances, especially if you're not giving up a lot. And like we've been talking about, we're seeing a lot of these second round picks being given up in a lot of these deals. Royce O'Neal was a couple of second round picks for him. That's all I want to see.
Here's the other thing. That's the last trade that we've had. That tweet from Shams came at 10:18. It's been over an hour since we have had a trade.
Seriously?
Yes.
Time flies when you're just kind of having fun.
If that's what you want to call it.
I'm so much fun. Oh my God.
It's so fun right now. Yeah, so it's getting that time where these are the times where I'm like, are some deals already done and like people are sitting on them? Think about right now, ESPN's doing a show, okay? What's beneficial for ESPN?
What is?
Have people hang on through the whole thing. If all the deals come at 11:20 and then like noon happens, there's nothing. maybe the deals are going to be spread out a little bit here. They're waiting till the back half of the show to keep viewers locked in. What better way to keep people locked in than, hey, man, they got to watch the final half hour to see what happens at noon. You know, Sham's doing a show right now, Stadium. I don't know how many people actually watch Stadium, but people are probably locked into some of the stuff he's saying. Keep them kind of there. Hey, something could happen. And then boom.
How about just do it now for us? For like just
Oh, I agree. Do it for us.
our
But
cute YouTube show that we're doing right now. How about you just like drop the news right now? Like what?
Jamar has some lyrics for TikTok.
What?
Wake up in the morning feeling like Monty. I grab my vest, I'm out the door. I'm gonna hit this city. Before I leave, make some trades with my telephone. I got myself in West, so I'm not alone.
I got myself in West, so I'm not
Okay,
alone.
I thought I didn't do that
You didn't
bad.
do that, but I was actually really impressed.
I love that song growing up.
Someone said, do emo Morgan. It's a trainless deadline, and I feel so sad.
You can keep going because I kind of need. I feel a bit emo right now because it's been so quiet. So if you give me a little trade list deadline, give me a little trade list.
It's a trainless deadline, and I feel so sad. Where are the wins? Are the Kings gonna be bad?
That's dark. That's some emo stuff. I need some mascara on right now.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, someone said boo. Sorry. No. Okay, Jesus. Fine.
You know what? This is an interesting ride right now we're on because we're
What's the ride, Deuce?
the ride. So today started with the excitement. You wake up, it's like Christmas Day. What gifts am I opening up? And all your friends are opening up like, oh, here's a PS5. Oh, here's
What?
this.
Wait. Okay. Tell me what teams are opening up what gifts today.
Oh, the Knicks?
Yeah. What did the Knicks open?
They got
up
a
today?
PS5.
Okay.
They got a
PS5. Okay.
The Suns, they got like a $200 gift card.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Okay.
pick what you want.
Love it.
And I go under the tree right now. I'm like, oh, and the gifts aren't out. And
Okay.
maybe Mom hasn't put the gifts out yet. Maybe Santa put them somewhere else.
Yeah. Or maybe someone broke into the house and
And
stole the
them.
gifts.
That there were gifts out there available,
Like-
under your tree, but someone else came and stole them.
Like the Sun stole Royce O'Neal.
Yeah, they took the gift card.
Yeah.
The Knicks, they took that PS5.
Wow.
But what am I going to be left with? Like that shitty wooden trade. I'll never forget my dead grandma got me when I was like 7 years old.
Such a dick about your
let
dead
me open it
grandma.
up, and it's who wants a wooden trade? Who does? I'm not. My friends are playing on their PlayStation 2s, and I've got a wooden train. What is this?
He has talked about this, getting this wooden train
yeah,
for
it's
Christmas.
traumatized me.
Like for your entire life. And by the way, what a spoiled little privileged stupid kid.
Oh,
Getting
yeah,
a wooden
you know me.
train.
A wooden trade suck.
You would have loved a wooden train now. I've heard you talk about trains.
A wooden train. Stop it. She sucks. Anyway, like I'm so excited, and the gifts aren't here yet. And my whole point is the excitement of this morning, and now as it's a half hour away from the deadline, we're feeling a bit low. Could there be a Christmas miracle, a trade deadline miracle in the next 30 minutes? You stay locked in.
Jesse says, Kings are your parents telling you, we don't celebrate Christmas.
Well, that's what it feels like at the moment. But we have 30 minutes to go. The basketball gods, will they give us something good here in the capital city of Sacramento? What are the Bulls doing? Are the Orlando Magic doing anything? What about the Lakers? We heard about the Warriors. Could they be doing anything? Portland's been quiet. There's nothing happening right now. The last trade that was out there was at 10:18. Can we get one now? I have not played that button in a long time.
We've played it for like 3 hours, but it's been over an hour now. And that sucks.
Just trying to keep the positive vibes. Because, why be mad now? If I'm going to be mad, I want to be mad afternoon, not before noon.
Good for you. I like
You know
that.
what I mean?
That's a good attitude.
Let me be mad when I know for sure. Like, how can I be angry about something That hasn't happened yet.
Well, and it's such a waste of energy to already be upset about the what if. Allow the what if to happen and then put your energy and your emotions into that. Right now, be hopeful. Be hopeful. And I think a lot of people too, they don't like to feel hopeful because they hate the feeling of being let down. But you're gonna still feel the let down feeling. So you might as well feel good until you have to feel that let down feeling, right?
Yeah, feel good.
It's a feel good time. We feel great.
Oh, I feel so amazing. So amazing.
What a day. I love a good Thursday.
Under 30 minutes to go.
God.
The clock is literally ticking right now. 30 minutes to go. Will we have an explosion? Or nothing? Because right now, it doesn't feel like there's much.
Nothing at all. Nope. Doesn't feel like anything. Let's see. I just want to see. That was 12 seconds ago.
You like that? It's like a timer, like a bomb timer.
No, not at all.
Is something big gonna happen? Can it happen soon?
I would rather have like a clock timer.
No,
this is like gives me anxiety. I don't like this.
Whoa!
Bomb.
That's what we need.
Okay.
I want a.
Okay. Well,
Oh my
that's
God. Oh my God.
what. He
Nothing.
got
I
a
mean, it's our
notification.
buddy Chris Haynes, but I just like my alerts are on today, Chris Haynes, and I don't need Dame Lillard's comments on Pat Beverly coming. Yeah, I'll give it to you anyway.
You want to play your sound?
No, that doesn't get a sounder. Come on. Dame Lillard tells Chris Haynes, talking about Patrick Beverly becoming his teammate. First, I want to say I'm sad to see Cam Payne go. You knew him for 2 months. We developed a friendship that I cherish. As for Pat, he brings an edge and defensive tenacity on the perimeter that we need. There are not many players who bring out a nightly like him. I look forward to working together. My notifications are on. Can you give me that at 2:30 tonight? You know what I mean?
Deuce, come on. He already had it written and ready to go.
I know.
Oh my God.
This is also your final warning. I need you guys to hit the thumbs up and subscribe. We are approaching 1,000 people watching us today, and we want to get to 15,000 subs in the next couple of days. Help us get there. If you're not subscribed, please help us. All it does is expose us to more NBA fans around the world.
Just looking. Just
Brad,
making
it is
sure.
so... he says, Adam Woj update. Brad, it's so dark right now. Even Adam Woj doesn't have an update. I think he OD'd on banana peels. I don't think any man is supposed to have banana peels.
And he did it with way too much like confidence too. Like it's something he does all the time. Very strange.
The one thing I cannot hear tonight. I shouldn't even go there. I'm going to go there actually.
I thought we were like staying here.
Okay. Can you let me get low for a second?
But stay up
I'm
while
gonna stay
you
up.
talk about being
I'm
low.
saying,
Be
as
happy.
someone, I'm not the biggest baseball fan anymore, but I've been a San Francisco Giants fan. I can't stand the whole like, hey man, they were in on this player. They were in on Aaron Judge.
Mm-hmm.
They were in on this guy. It's so irritating. I cannot hear after the deadline, like, hey man, the Kings were close to getting a deal for this guy and just didn't work. I don't want to know that.
Yeah.
Do not tell me we almost got. Just let me move on.
That's fair. That's not
I can't deal with the almost because that game is not fun. This whole, we were aggressive. Yeah, you were aggressive and didn't get anything done yet. So that's
when we were
okay.
in San Francisco doing the Kings pre and post game shows in San Francisco. We were next to Oracle Park and you were talking about this and you said, what's one of the worst things that teams can do? And you were so angry when talking about it. I said, what? And you said, like the Giants, talking about getting so close with an Aaron Judge.
Or Shohei. Hey, we talked to Ohtani. I'm like, I don't care that you talk to these guys.
Get shit
Yep.
done or don't talk to me.
I was making the example that, like, what the San Francisco Giants do sometimes, the NBA equivalent would be like, hey, man, we are pursuing really aggressively LeBron James. We met with him. And then you lose out on him and you sign JaVale McGee.
But
it's like, well,
here's something though.
that's the NBA equivalent to what the Giants do.
Yes. But I'll say this, with everything that was going on with Pascal Siakam, and then when that piece came out that he basically didn't want to be in Sacramento, probably because he wasn't going to get the max deal and all these different things, right? Position, he was going to be a rental. With all the angles going into that, I was fine with the aggressive nature of being there in those conversations and not going through with it. Like, there's certain situations I am fine being like, yes, I'm glad they were a part of that and that it didn't happen. But I think when you're at the NBA trade deadline and you imagine that there's so many different pieces and tweaks that you can make, especially for second rounders or something, why aren't you part of that? And also, if you're a part of it, why aren't you making it happen? What's going on with Paralyzed?
You want some good mojo?
Yeah, what's the good mojo? Look
need
at
to
this
show
guy.
Carlin.
Hey, Carlin.
This is Carlin. Carlin, any thoughts on the Sacramento Kings being quiet with 23 minutes to go? Yeah.
Wow.
Does not sound happy.
Not happy. Whoa. Okay. So, he only has 2 working legs, so, that could be part of it.
Carlin excited. He's got rehab coming up at 3 p.m. UC Davis.
Oh my God, you're so cute.
What? See, look at him. If you're feeling blue, if you're feeling down, you just look at Carlin. You feel so much. Hey, buddy.
So at noon, if nothing goes down, we are just going to show you. We're not even going to talk.
You're going to hold Carlin in front of the camera.
Correct.
We all just stare at him.
Let's put him in his wheels, make everyone feel bad for him.
Yeah.
A dog in wheels. And so then everyone just goes, oh my gosh, no way. So sad. And it's like, yep, pay attention to this and not to what's really happening.
22 minutes to go.
Thanks, everyone, for being here with us today. Look, our energy from the start to right now.
I'm just trying to predict, what's that. Let's just play what if games, because this is where we're at. We're playing what if games now.
We're going to play what if. Okay, fine.
What if it literally comes out like 11:59 that they do something? Like they're trolling all the fans, like, you guys want to trade? Here, we're going to leak this at 11:59.
Okay, this is Deuce. This is like Deuce, just like
they're gonna make one, right?
Yeah.
I'm like rubbing Carlin super hard, like he's not even feeling. Like, why are you petting me like that?
That
Is everything gonna be okay?
Oh God, yeah. Look, 22 minutes, 21 minutes. 21 minutes left.
Get us to 500 thumbs up, though. That would be the best thing to do. We're 20 away from that. Yeah, the entire NBA has been quiet now for an hour and 20 minutes. We have not seen any other reported trades at this point. It started off kind of with a busy day. Do you guys want a quick update as we wind down? If you're just joining us, we've seen trades galore in the NBA. It started with the Sixers getting Buddy Buckets. Buddy going to the city of brotherly love. Buddy Love. The Sixers have been after him for a long time. Finally get him. He's on an expiring deal. Interesting, the Pacers moved on from him because he was expiring, and if they kept him, it would have been challenging. Unlock Benedict Mathurin.
Yeah, unlock Benedict Mathurin, but also it just seems strange because it felt like they were really finding something, especially on the offensive end, especially with Tyrese Halliburton, that's been in and out because of his strained hamstring. So interesting that they just were like, okay, we're making that move. We're changing things up. Here we go.
So in that deal, the Pacers get Marcus Morris, Korkmaz, and 3 second-round picks for Buddy Hield's expiring contract. Toronto makes a deal today with the Utah Jazz. Kelly Olynyk, a lot of teams were interested in him. You can see why contending teams would like a guy like him. He goes to the Raptors along with Ochai Agbaji, who was a first-round pick by the Jazz. Didn't work out. He's been in the G League a lot. He's going to the Raptors in exchange for Kyra Lewis, Otto Porter, and a 2024 first-round pick that at this point is expected at the end of the first round. That goes to the Utah Jazz. Danny Ainge continuing to add first-round picks. He's got an arsenal of picks. Same with Sam Presti and OKC. Ooh. Speaking of OKC, some talk about what would they do at the deadline. They make a subtle tweak, but one that I think can be impactful. They move on from 3 players, including Trey Mann, Davis Bertans, and Mizic. They go to Charlotte in exchange for Gordon Hayward. He's played 25 games this year. Health is always a question.
Always.
But he's got a $30 million expiring deal. He is going to the OKC Thunder, and you could see how he would help them if healthy.
Veteran, if healthy, can shoot, can put the ball on the floor, be strong, big body, and an upgrade from Bertans if available and healthy.
The Knicks. How about those New York Knicks?
Looking good today.
They make a deal with the Pistons, and they have been aggressive. They already added OG Anunoby. Then they trade Malachi Flynn, who they got from the Raptors in that deal, along with Quentin Grimes, like his game, Evan Fournier, who has not been playing there, 2 second-round picks, and Ryan Arcidiacono going to the Pistons in exchange for Bojan Bogdanovic and Alec Burks. The Knicks needed some more shooting. Bojan provides that good size defensively. Tom Thibodeau may not love it, but the Knicks got a whole bunch of dogs everywhere. They need some more shooting. Alec Burks, just a vet. He's been with the Knicks before.
Just went off on the
could
Kings
fit. What do you need
last
from him?
night.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what the Knicks did. Daniel House is also traded from the Sixers to the Pistons. He is going to be waived by the Pistons. Dallas made a couple of moves today. They started trading Rashawn Holmes and a first-round pick excuse me, to the Washington Wizards for Daniel Gafford.
Love
That's
that
a
move
nice
for them.
move.
Yep.
You have Derek Lively. Now you got a nice backup to go behind him who's still young,
25.
who's under contract, block shots. That's a good pickup.
Especially we were talking about with Lively and obviously being a rookie in the foul trouble that he gets in early, being able to go to someone like Gafford, just, yes, absolutely upgrade.
Toronto makes another move. They acquire Spencer Dinwiddie from the Brooklyn Nets in exchange for Dennis Schroeder and Thaddeus Young. We should also note that the Pistons are waiving a couple of guys. Joe Harris and Killian Hayes waived today by the Pistons. Killian Hayes, a first-round pick, the 7th pick overall, waived today by the Pistons. Did not work out there. Detroit. Charlotte and Dallas make a deal, and this one is going to be one you follow for years to come a bit just because of the pick that was involved. But on the surface, Dallas got better. We mentioned them adding Daniel Gafford. They also add P.J. Washington from the Hornets along with a couple of second-round picks. The Hornets acquire Grant Williams, Seth Curry, and a 2027 Dallas first-round pick that is just top 2 protected.
Good tweak for the Mavs, adding someone like PJ Washington, Young, Long, all those things, and
Can
obviously,
score.
and just Grant Williams was asked to do way too much in his role with the Mavs, and there was just certain nights that he couldn't add what you needed around Luka and the rest of the team.
It's a nice pickup. I think it's going to help Dallas now. You had both those guys. What's the ceiling with that group? That's the next question. And was it worth giving up a 2027 pick? Who knows what Dallas is going to look like then? And that's only top 2 protected. Better hope that works out okay. Meanwhile, Milwaukee and the Sixers make a trade. Pat Bev broke it on his Twitter account. Patrick Beverley is going to the Bucks in exchange for campaign and a second-round pick and a 3-team trade that we're still trying to figure out all the details to it. But we know it involves Memphis, Brooklyn, and Phoenix. The big picture stuff, the Suns got the players that could help them. David Roddy and Royce O'Neal going to the Suns. Roddy, of course, was with Memphis. O'Neal was with the Nets. O'Neal was a guy that the Kings had reported interest in that they weren't able to get. Suns gave up some expiring contracts, including Yuta Watanabe in that deal, Chimeze Metu, Bates Diop, Jordan Goodwin. We don't know where all those pieces are landing, but we know that last trade made was that one. Big body, David Roddy.
And Suns upgrading their depth, obviously, with those 2 pieces. And you look at someone like Royce O'Neal and you go, second-round picks. That's all you had to give up for Royce O'Neal. And that's someone that I think you really saw attached to the Sacramento Kings going, that would have been the perfect type of tweak. Yes?
15 minutes away from the trade deadline, and we have surpassed 1,000 people watching us live. Juice Mason, Morgan Reagan. What will go down in the next 15 minutes? We just went up and down all the trades in the NBA this morning. Do we have anything else? We have not seen one since 10:18 a.m. It's 11:45 now. Are the Kings making a deal today? Will the Chicago Bulls sell any parts whatsoever? What is happening? Will the Golden State Warriors do anything? It sounds like the Lakers are content standing pat. What is going to happen? Sounds like people are saying we got a Woj bomb. Let's see what the Woj bomb is. From Adrian Wojnarowski, the Spurs are trading Doug McDermott to the Pacers. The Pacers will send the Spurs a future second-round pick. Dougie McBuckets headed to the Pacers. And how about that? Fantastic deal for the Indiana Pacers. I mean, think about it. You lose shooting in Buddy Hield. You've got other pieces that can replace Buddy, but why not add some more shooting? Dougie McBuckets, Doug McDermott going to the Indiana Pacers.
I mean, he's shooting 44% from three-point land this year. And obviously, you know, he's someone that that they can
Wow.
Let's see, what's he doing? He's doing about 15 minutes, averaging 15 minutes a game. I just want to look at his attempts. Okay, so he's really being efficient with his threes as well, because he's jacking up about 4 per game. So now you look at him in the offense with the Indiana Pacers, who
play fast,
so
up-tempo.
fast. And they love, I mean, you have someone in Tyrese Halliburton who is putting the ball on the floor, getting into the paint, getting that paint touch, spray three to whoever is out there. I mean, put him out beyond the arc, have him shoot the basketball. Boom, efficient, 44% three-point shooter this year.
And he has an expiring deal too. So look at the pivot they made. They move on from Buddy Hield, add some toughness with Marcus Morris, get a couple of second-round picks. Also allows Benedict Mathurin to get more time. Buddy, you know, he was an expiring deal. You're not going to re-sign him. That made a lot of sense. We should mention this, though. We mentioned Marcus Morris. He's actually involved in that deal. Marcus Morris is being rerouted to the Spurs in that deal. So Marcus Morris is going to head to the Spurs in that deal. We also have this update with 13 minutes to go. The Hawks are keeping DeJounte Murray. The Hawks are keeping DeJounte Murray. That's according to Adrian. I was going to say Adam Wojnarowski. Adrian Wojnarowski.
Get it
so let's reset that. Indiana gets Doug McDermott for Marcus Morris and a second-round pick. So anyway, you lose Buddy's shooting, but you bring in a guy who can shoot the rock, who knows his role.
Sure.
He's going to be perfect there. Good move there. And you don't add any crazy salary. He is owed $3.7 million this year. That's it. He's an expiring deal. Good move by the Indiana Pacers.
Yep. Easy. 32-year-old, you know, obviously vet, been there before, but truly you look at this high-powered offense for the Indiana Pacers and you go, great. Just add another shooter. Add another guy that has experience, that has been in the league for a while. Sure. Take it. Go. Boom.
We are 12 minutes away. If you have not done it yet, hit the thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed to this channel as we approach 15,000 subs. And I want 600, 700 thumbs up, because all it does is make our channel grow so more fans around the world see what we're doing. Also, an update from Shams. The Spurs are expected to buy out Marcus Morris, who they just acquired in that trade for Doug McDermott. So that's the very latest there. The buyout market could be interesting with guys like Marcus Morris, Daniel House out there, potentially Kyle Lowry getting bought out by the Hornets. We'll see what ends up happening there. We don't know what else is going to happen, but we know this. There's 11 minutes to go in the NBA's trade deadline. We've been waiting for this for a long time. What's going to happen? We went over an hour and like 30 minutes without a reported trade before this deal that just went down between the Spurs and the Pacers. Doug McDermott going to the Indiana Pacers. Marcus Morris and a second-round pick to the Spurs. Morris going to be waived. What will the Sacramento Kings do? Will they stand pat yet again and do nothing at the deadline? We will find out in the next 10 and a half minutes. You are live with Deuce Mason, Morgan Reagan. We'll break it down after. Let's get it going. The clock is ticking. Will the Wizards move on from anybody else today? What is happening? Will the Miami Heat make a deal? We have heard noise about Caleb Martin potentially getting moved by the Miami Heat. The Kings have reported interest. Can those two teams get something done? The Bulls, they've got pieces galore. DeRozan's expiring deal. Are they going to move on from that? Seems unlikely at this point. Alex Caruso is a name that's gotten a ton of attention. The asking price is high. DeJounte Murray, he is not going anywhere. Reported just moments ago from Adrian Wojnarowski that he is staying put with the Atlanta Hawks. The Lakers content with standing pat. What else is happening? We got another deal, and it involves the Sacramento Kings.
What? Tell us.
The Sacramento Kings are acquiring Robin Lopez, and Lopez is expected to be waived and become a free agent. I saw Lopez. I'm like, oh my God, did they get Brooke? Oh, they get Brooke. We don't know what the Kings are giving up, but the Kings have made a trade at this hour. The Kings have made a trade. Did they make a trade to just make a trade? We don't know, but we know that the Bucks have traded Robin Lopez to the Kings, who is expected to be waived and become a free agent.
Well, you can't be mad now.
Hey, can't be mad. He made a trade.
What?
We don't know what other details. I have no idea.
I just need someone to. This is. I've been able to explain a lot of these today.
Yeah.
This is. I can't explain yet. So we'll see.
Huge news.
All right, Woj, put out the other tweets. Come on.
We are 9 minutes away. The Woj bomb of all Woj bombs, Robin Lopez, headed to the Kings, but will be waived. And oh my God, the Kings have acquired cash considerations in the deal.
We're just putting that out.
Wow.
I said, oh my God, we are live. Oh my God. Alarms.
So I'm guessing they just got cash to...
Who doesn't love money, huh?
Dude.
Who doesn't love money?
But what's so... I don't understand the point in that deal.
Deuce, I don't know.
Robin Lopez, by the way, is making $2 million right now. So we're over halfway through the season, so he'll be paid out less than $1 million.
So you separate the twins? Sounds a little messed up. I'm going to see how many people troll me and actually think I'm serious.
You know what, though?
What?
Maybe this is just a piece to a bigger move. Maybe in the next 7 minutes, we're going to get another alert. And it's going to be one that shows you, oh, this makes sense. This is why they're doing it. They did this to this to this to this. What else is happening? Will anything happen in the next 7 minutes? We will find out together. We've been on this ride for hours now. We're not ready to get off yet without the ultimate drop. Woo! Like it's a fun roller coaster.
Woo!
I don't want to throw up. I want to enjoy this. So we're at this point, cash considerations.
Yeah, I love money. Money's great.
This is the 22nd stint for cash considerations on the Kings since 2005.
At least,
you know what? He's a familiar face. Or she. I mean, I don't know. Cash. She's Cash. Thank you. Cash considerations. Big time stuff. It's, here's what you know.
What do you know about cash considerations? She's been great.
You know what Cash is able to do?
What?
It can help you. Cash is going to help you.
Cash, you know what? That's a fact. Cash considerations every year, no matter who you are in this league, cash considerations can, and will help you.
No ego.
No ego.
I mean, cash moves all the time. Cash. This is like the 27th stint for cash considerations on the Kings. Welcome Cash back to the team.
And beautiful color, green. Who doesn't like the color green? Love the color green. Ugh. You're raising your hand.
5.5 minutes to go in the trade deadline.
Cash for MVP. Love
Cash. Let's bring fake money to the next game and just starting at small forward.
Oh my God.
From Washington D.C.
Just a big wad of cash with two arms. Coming
Number 1,000 cash consideration.
And then oh my God, Cash is dropping dimes. Cash. Everybody, cash. Remember, we gotta stay hopeful for another 5 effing minutes, and then we can break it all down.
We laugh so we don't cry.
Right now, love Cash. 5 minutes from now, what the was that?
Oh my God. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe, everybody. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Over 1,100 people here. We're trying to get to 15,000 subs. I want the thumbs up to be 600, 700. We are 5 minutes away from the NBA trade deadline. The last 2 trades have been made in the last 10 minutes. We saw one with Indiana and San Antonio. Doug McDermott is headed to the Pacers in a deal with the Spurs. Marcus Morris in a second round pick to San Antonio. Marcus Morris will be waived. He is out there in the free agent market. Same with Daniel House, waived earlier today. Joe Harris on the free agent market. Killian Hayes, those are some free agents to watch. Who cares about that for a minute? Then the Kings made a trade. We've been wondering, can the Sacramento Kings make a deal? Well, Brooke Lopez, his brother is Robin, right? Robin Lopez is headed to Sacramento Kings for cash considerations.
I got that text a long time ago, though.
We're getting another trade at this hour. Lopez will be waived, by the way. The Sixers are trading Jaden Springer to the Celtics for a second-round pick. It seems like the Sixers dealing with like the competition. They made a deal with the Bucks today, and now with the Boston Celtics, Jaden Springer for a second-round pick. They're trying to cut salary at this point. We are 3 minutes away. One other report that we're starting to see is that it looks like that the Raptors are planning on waiving Spencer Dinwiddie. He could be out there on the free agent market.
Okay.
So that's where we're at right now. Thanks for the chat for alerting us of that.
Thank you.
We have heard many names. The Kings could be interested in Dorian Finney-Smith, Caleb Martin. Those names are still out there, but we are less than 3 minutes away from the trade deadline. Will any more alerts come up on my phone? What is going to happen? Or will it only be cash considerations joining the Kings at the trade deadline? We will find out together.
And make sure you guys subscribe to this channel. Thank you all for being here, because as you're seeing all these other players that are getting waived, whatever else is happening to them, when there's breaking news on where they go next, we will be going live within this time.
Woo.
All right. 3 minutes left. Cash. 2 minutes left. Cash. How you feeling? Nope. Remember, hopeful until noon. Hopeful.
Excuse me, I was praying to the basketball gods.
Proceed.
Dear basketball gods. Look, man, I'm not even asking for a lot. I'm not asking for the equivalent of a PlayStation 5 or anything like that. I'm just...
They gave you some cash. Gods gave you some cash.
That's true. They did give me cash.
So say thank you.
Thanks, I guess. But can I get someone who could play for me? Like, just...
Well, they gave you Brooke Lopez.
No, they did not. They gave us Robin.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it would be nice. And they're waving Robin.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So they did that too. So cash,
is there just some
Robin
like
Lopez.
some defender? I mean, like Dorian Finney. I'll just take Dorian Finney-Smith, man.
Yeah, I would do that.
I'm not asking for LeBron or any big. Just something. There's like a minute to go. Please, basketball gods.
You don't cry and beg. You pray. You pray.
Okay.
You pray.
1 minute away. Oh my God.
Kings got richer, not stronger. Well, they did get richer. Cash. Got to be happy for another minute. And then we got to break it all down. Oh, man.
We need the adrenaline to go. What is going to happen?
Come on, Woj. Give us one more tweet.
One more tweet involving the Kings. One more tweet. One more tweet. I need a Woj drop a bomb on me, baby. Woj drop a bomb on me. Oh, baby, need a trade. Woj drop a bomb on me. The Toronto Raptors are keeping Bruce Brown. With a minute to go, that's according to Woj. That's the very latest.
I got excited when I saw your phone light up.
No, we're about to hit noon.
I know.
And I already told you what's going to happen. It's noon. Now, remember, sometimes stuff leaks minutes after.
That's true.
Is the deadline over?
No. Yeah, it is.
No, it may not be over yet.
I think, what do you mean?
No, just wait a few minutes.
Can we, with the cash, pay for extra minutes for the deadline to get extended?
Yeah, can we use cash considerations to extend the deadline 5 minutes?
Pray harder. Pray harder!
Come on, hold on. Just, we have to wait. We got to wait for a few minutes.
We're waiting a few minutes.
All right. The Celtics are trading Delano Blanton to the Blazers for a heavily protected second-round pick. Deals are coming in after the deadline.
That's true.
I told you.
That's true.
Just wait. Boston is second-round pick. I'm writing that down. Portland is getting Delano Batten. I said Blanton. My bad. You know the point. All right, let's, just wait a few minutes, guys. A few more minutes. How are you feeling right now, huh?
Don't ask me. How are you feeling? I'm feeling rich.
I'm
a rich bitch.
I
Let's
am-
go. I got that cash. It's not even mine. It's the part of a rich organization.
The Chicago Bulls are keeping Andre Drummond.
Ah! Ugh. I need like a massage.
Just wait a second.
With my cash, I'm going to go buy a massage.
Julian says, guys, don't be pathetic. Don't hate that much that team. It feels like you don't like the team at all. If you don't think we like the team, you're wrong. I just wanted a trade, one trade, a little tweak. That's all.
We've been on for hours watching other teams make tweaks, and we just wanted a tweak.
Yeah. No,
and you know what? You are right. It's not the end of the world or anything. It's more just the excitement involving change and progress and hopefully improvement. And guess what? If you don't get that, you can be mad, you can be happy, you can do all the different things. I'm really not that mad. No, I'm not. I feel a little I mean, that's the thing. You look around the Western Conference and you think about fan bases like the Lakers and the Golden State Warriors, and especially when they have this very small window where I do, in a lot of ways, go with the Sacramento Kings. I go, oh, you want to be safe. You want to make sure you're not just doing the wrong thing because you don't want to trade away your future. But I really wanted to see just small little tweaks. Those are always fun. Especially when the team has been so inconsistent this year. But their record is still good. Still winning some games. But they lost a really shitty game last night against the Pistons.
We're going to wait a few more minutes here before we give our reaction podcast getting started about this trade deadline and the Kings not really doing anything at this moment. What I do need to do is, because we've been on for 3 hours, I got to tinkle. I'll be right back. Tell them to hit the thumbs up.
You heard him. Hit the thumbs up. Ay. All right, everybody. God, I hope like one little trade comes in while Deuce is in the bathroom. That would be great. Yeah. Pulse. How are you guys feeling? What's the pulse around this chat right now? Whether you are a Sacramento Kings fan, an NBA fan, a fan of a different organization, I'm curious what you guys are feeling. Some of the things that you're seeing out there that are being pushed out with some of the bigger markets, like, holy shit, they didn't make a move. And they have small windows around these aging superstars, where at least when you look at the Sacramento Kings, a lot of their guys are in their mid-20s, prime, wherever you want to put that. So I don't know. I don't think I'm talking myself too into just being like happy about it. I feel better than I thought I was going to feel at 12.
I don't.
That's fine.
I don't feel good at all. We have a trade. The Warriors are trading Corey Joseph.
Kojo.
Corey Joseph is going to the Indiana Pacers, back to the Pacers, a spot where he's spent some time.
Yeah.
So what else is happening? See, this is why you wait a few minutes, because let's just see. We got. That's the update right now. Corey Joseph, the Warriors do make a move at the deadline. They're trading Corey Joseph to the Pacers. Will anything else happen?
Tyrese Halliburton.
Going to the Warriors.
For Corey Joseph. Oh, my God. Joking, everybody. Joking.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, if no moves are made, and I know we're going to do like a full rundown of this on the pod. Yeah, it's disappointing. And like, it does. Look, the Kings are a good team.
Yeah.
They're a good team. But what we saw last night, expect some of that. That's just who they are. They're going to have games like this. They're a flawed team.
And dropping to that 7th spot in the Western Conference, going from 5th to 7th.
Dallas got better.
In one night. And then on top of that, you're seeing some of the tweaks. The Suns got better. The Mavs got better. And who knows? We'll see. I don't know what Indiana could be trading to the Warriors for them to get better. They only traded Kojo. But either way, yeah, I understand being patient with things, but I also think too, throughout these last couple hours that we were talking about some of the tweaks that could have gone down for second rounders. That's what it irks me when I see Royce O'Neal go to the Suns for second rounders. I'm like, why couldn't that be us? That's the piece. PJ Washington, Mavs had to give up a shit ton to get PJ Washington. I think it's smart because, again, they have their small window around Luka and Kyrie, and they want to see what they can do. Do what you got to do. And those are the moves where I'm like, I'm glad that the Kings aren't being ridiculous making some trades like that. But it's the Royce O'Neal ones that just kill me.
Yeah.
That's the one. That's the one. That's the one.
That is tough. Appreciate you guys being with us right now. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Waiting a few more minutes because I just want to see if there's anything else that leaks out. I mean, Shams just put something out that came out at 12:03 with Corey Joseph going to the Pacers, right? So that's interesting.
Dave McMenamin. Did I say that right?
McMenamin.
Yeah, thanks. The Lakers were active in seeking deals in the days leading up to the deadline and determined any feasible trade would be a marginal upgrade at too steep a cost. Now, be aggressive in buyout market with more money to offer than others from saved portion. And then
Of the MLE, yeah.
Yeah, and then next is just
Hoping that Vincent Vanderbilt can return to be impact players. After that, they have 3 first-round picks. Basically, the Lakers are doing their spin of, hey, this is what's happening, and we're going to be fine. The update, too, on that Pacers-Warriors trade, the Warriors are getting a second-round pick for Corey Joseph and cash. So the Pacers get some cash back, too, in that deal. UFO Currents in chat says, read my super chat. I don't see a super chat from you unless I need to refresh it. Oh, here we go. UFO Currents donates $5 to let us know that the Bucks are trading Robin Lopez and cash to the Kings. Thanks. We got that about 17 minutes ago.
But appreciate the donation. That's sweet.
Appreciate you guys being here. Oh,
He's
my
like, see, the Kings did do something.
See, they did
I like
something.
that. And we got cash out of it, too. Cash.
Cash.
Oh, come on. Like, what are you going to do?
Man. Okay, I think we need to just start because it doesn't look like anything else is happening.
Let's see. Yeah. Nope. Everyone's gonna be so mad at me because I'm like feeling okay. I mean, I'm not happy, but I'm not like depressed about it.
Do you? You don't have to be depressed about it.
But you know what's funny? You know what's funny? When I thought noon was gonna hit, I thought I would feel more emotional about it. With I think it's like I said, it's just the Royce O'Neal combination for second rounders.
Yeah, Morgan.
That kills my soul.
And he goes to the competition, right? I'm not like Royce O'Neal's like a game changer, but the Suns got better. The Mavs got better today. And here's the other perspective. The last two trade deadlines.
Cash.
You have gotten
Cash.
Kessler, Edwards, and cash. Oh, they trade for Petrusev earlier this year. That was the one trade they made this year. That's a tough sell. It is. And this is coming off the heels of what happened last night against the Pistons. Now, you don't make a move because of one game, but this is a large sample size, right? This is a large sample size we've seen from Sacramento. They played 50 games, and they're clearly a flawed team. In my opinion, this team, as currently constructed, has a ceiling. And unless in the final 32 games of the season, Keegan Murray takes a jump of all jumps, this is who they're going to be. They're going to be up and down. Some nights they're going to look good, and I think they'll be a winning team, but they're kind of what they are. I mean, look at how this season has been. 50 games in, Fox and Sabonis have a pretty good year. Sabonis has been great. You know, Keegan's had flashes, but he's in a funk right now. Monk, you know, he's been the 6th man of the year conversation, but outside of that, it's been up and down. It's not a bad team. It's a good team that is not very good defensively most nights, who can score a lot of points. They're going to win some games, but they did not do anything, in my opinion, to get better. Like, this is who they are.
I'm down to be a good team with minor tweaks each season, right? Whether that means trade deadline, buyout, free agency,
Yep.
wherever it is, I am down to be that team. I think a lot of people really go, it has to be here. It has to be here. It has to be here. And especially now you look at this NBA trade deadline, I go, well, the only way that the Kings were even going to, I always match them up against the Los Angeles Clippers. And I go, if they were in a playoff series with the Clippers, would they win? Even if they made a tweak? The answer is no. Most likely no.
Sure.
It would be very surprising. And that's where I go, okay, so they didn't want to sell away some of their future. This is my thought process. I don't know if it's for sure theirs, but they didn't want to sell away anything in the future, make some weird, stupid trade, and screw it up even for going into next year. Maybe thinking about some of these other teams' age and they change as well.
Sure. But you don't have to screw up your future for some of these deals that were out there.
Yeah.
Some of the targets that were out there. We're not talking about the big
The
ones,
tweaks,
right?
man, the tweaks.
Let's talk about it. We're going to do this for our audio version. Yep. Deuce and Mo, we're coming down in 3, 2, 1. Welcome into the Deuce and Mo podcast, recording this after the trade deadline is all over and the Kings did make a move. I guess. The deadline has come and gone, and the Sacramento Kings are pretty much the same team, right? They traded with the Milwaukee Bucks today.
Mm-hmm.
They land Robin Lopez in a deal.
And you say that they're the same team.
Hold on. I totally messed that up. So, wait, what was the deal again?
What?
My brain doesn't work.
Oh, Deuce, no, finish strong. All right, so you have, let's get it. The Milwaukee Bucks are trading Robin Lopez to
the
the
Kings
Sacramento
aren't giving
Kings.
up anything. In this deal.
Lopez is expected to be waived and become a free agent. That is
So
it.
what else is going
The
on? in
Bucks
the
are
deal?
sending cash
That's
in the
it.
deal.
Where's the deal? All right.
What's the deal?
3, 2, 1. Hit my music.
Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know.
Hey, welcome into the Deuce and Mo podcast, recording this after the NBA trade deadline has come and gone. The Sacramento Kings needed some sort of move, right? They needed a jolt with what just transpired last night and kind of the inconsistency this year. We all had questions. What were they going to do? Well, they didn't do much today. Just before noon struck, they did make a deal with the Milwaukee Bucks, acquiring Robin Lopez in cash, and they plan on waiving Robin Lopez. That's it. That's the move. The Sacramento Kings are bringing back the same roster at this point. There could be some possibilities on the buyout market, but right now, what we know, the Kings don't do much of anything at the deadline. We'll talk about that and much more. I'm Deuce Mason. That's Morgan Reagan. Mo, I'm disappointed. I'm really disappointed. I said to you in the weeks leading up that I didn't need some big swing or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I needed something more impactful than Kessler Edwards. That didn't happen.
No.
And so now you're looking at the last 2 trade deadlines. The Kings have made a couple of moves, and it's consisted of last deadline, Kessler Edwards, and this deadline, getting Robin Lopez in cash to waive him.
I think you are not giving cash enough credit here, because when you get richer, everything's just easier in life. I'm kidding. I think as soon as noon hit on NBA trade deadline day, I felt a few different emotions. I was like, okay, this team is still good, whatever. But the thing that irks me the most is looking at what other teams did around the league. And it was all these teams, some teams with second rounders, and being able to trade away their second rounders to help their depth, to make those tweaks. For example, and I know we'll go over all the trades, but this is just the one that I'm going to connect to Sacramento, and that would be like Royce O'Neal, for example. And
he comes to the Suns in a 3-team deal from the Nets. They also got David Roddy from Memphis, and they gave up some second round picks and some expiring contracts.
That's it. And it just, I just go, well, why couldn't the Kings be in one of these situations where they're getting something done with some of their second rounders or whatever it may be? So I look at that and I go, okay, that's disappointing not to be able to get that. Another name that we had hoped and or saw linked maybe to the Kings within the month, or Kings fans were happy about, would be PJ Washington. He ended up going to the Mavs. Now, the Mavs had to give up a lot, not only with Grant Williams and some of their future round picks, but they had to give up a lot to get PJ Washington. I was like, I'm glad that the Kings weren't in a situation where they were trying to have to spend too much to get some of these guys. And then I look around the league at some of these other names like Dorian Finney-Smith that was linked to the Kings.
Torrey Craig, Caleb Martin.
I think a lot of these teams around the league were selling, were asking far too much for some of these teams, like a team like the Sacramento Kings. But either way, Deuce, I stand here right now and I go, even if that was the case, it's just frustrating that was all that was tweaked, especially when this Kings team doesn't seem as good as last season, and they're more inconsistent this season, and they felt like they need a different type of jolt, just a little change to benefit them going forward.
And at this point, the West is better.
And that.
So the West is better. You're the same roster, but less consistent. You just lost at home to the Pistons, and you still had the same flaws that we see all the time. Ooh. Look, they just had a 5-2 road trip that was pretty successful, but then you come home and lose to the Pistons. We've seen too much inconsistency with this group, and I think we can all be honest and go, you know what, this team is probably a first-round exit if they get in. And now, you know, with Dallas adding not only PJ Washington today, but they also made a trade for Daniel Gafford from the Wizards to add some depth. They traded Rashawn Holmes in that deal and a first-round pick. So Dallas looks like on paper, they got better today.
They did.
Right? And they're trying to make the playoffs. They're coming for you. The Phoenix Suns, I think, are better than the Kings, and they got better today. They were savvy enough to understand, like, hey, we have a window here with KD and Beal. We got to keep going all in. We signed all these minimum guys in the offseason to fill out the roster after landing Beal. We took chances. It didn't work. All right, what's our pivot here? All right, we'll take some of those expirings and second rounders. Who cares? We're trying to win now. We'll pay some luxury tax. Let's add Royce O'Neal and David Roddy to the mix. It's a good move for the Phoenix Suns. So those are just two teams, and the rest of the teams in the West are just good.
I mean, but even you could even mention this too with OKC. They made a few moves today, and they got Gordon Hayward. And I'm not acting like, oh, that's going to be the biggest change for them, because you don't even know if he's going to be available at times, right? We always question his health, especially with him. But he adds that veteran presence, and he's an upgrade from someone like Bertans, who they did end up trading away for Gordon Hayward. So these tweaks, whether they seem like they are going to actually move the needle for some of these teams or not, I do see the importance in them. And that's why when I look at the Kings and I don't see any of those type of moves being made, that's where I get a little frustrated.
Yeah, I mean, they needed to do something to put themselves in a better position just to play more consistent. They needed some more size and length. They needed, we know their shortcomings, and I think it was perfectly displayed last night, right? They have trouble at times defending the pick and roll. They aren't good at contesting threes.
Oh, no.
They aren't really good at stopping dribble penetration on the perimeter. These are all things that are going to put you in a very challenging spot to win games in the NBA. And if they're going to take a little bit of a step, they needed to make even a subtle tweak. They didn't get it done. And I am beyond disappointed about that.
Well, and what I will say is this too, because I feel like most people and us a little bit at last year's trade deadline, when none of the moves were made except Kessler Edwards, you had some length, some defense, cash, whatever you got in that situation. Everyone was like, what are they doing? I think I believed in continuity in what they had a little bit more at that time, because it was still fresh. They were still trying to figure each other out and have that internal growth and see what they could continue with that group. And you did see success. You saw them get to a playoff series against the Golden State Warriors that not only did they gain that experience, they brought it to 7 games where they showed, okay, we can be a good team and we can be a good postseason team. Now, this year, I still believe because they ran it back and they have a lot of those same pieces and made a few tweaks here and there in the offseason, that there can still be a lot of that going forward, especially in the second half of a season. Are you seeing this team grow together a little bit more and kind of have some better games together? We saw that on the road trip. We absolutely did. But when you're coming off a game against the Pistons that you lose in that fashion, whether you want to call it prisoner of the moment or not, it is what it is. And we've seen that happen a few times against some of the shittiest teams in this league. And that's where I just jump back and I get like a little scared that nothing was done.
Yeah. I mean, you should be. And even if you don't think that one subtle move was going to dramatically shift things for the Kings this season, it could still add in a player that kind of changes the dynamics a little bit, right? What you're trying to accomplish. And so you're going to have some nights where this Kings team is locked in. They're going to knock down shots, and they'll play adequate enough defense. They have flashes, depending on the matchup, where, hey, they're playing some good defense, and they can win a game. But they're going to have nights like we have seen repeatedly to a shorthanded Portland team on the road, to last night against the Pistons, to that home game against the Hornets. We're like, man, can they stop anybody? And that's what's frustrating is, like, I think we all see that this team has some serious weaknesses, and none of them were addressed. Now, could they make an impact on the buyout market? There are some buyout candidates now available. Mm-hmm. The Spurs acquired Marcus Morris today in a trade with the Pacers where they sent Doug McDermott to Indiana. Good trade for the Pacers.
Absolutely.
After moving on from Buddy Hield. But Marcus Morris is going to be waived by the Spurs. Okay, intriguing guy. Daniel House got traded from the Sixers to the Pistons. The Kings have been interested in House before. Could he be a player that the Kings can add? Okay, that maybe. But here's the problem, those names. A lot of teams want them. Contenders want them. So that's where, you're going to have competition. We always talk about the buyout market. It's like, yeah, but you watch a lot of these buyouts. It's
they're going to want to play with LeBron. They're going to want to play with Steph. They're going to want to play, that's where some of these teams with those top tier caliber players, star players, LeBron James, Steph Curry, these players go, well, if I could add and win my ring with them, why wouldn't I do that? Why, even if it is on a cheaper deal, is this the situation I want to be in? No, you're exactly right. And that's going to be frustrating too going forward. And you just hope sometimes there's some people who look at a system and go, wow, I actually could see myself a future here and being part of this system because this is fun basketball and this team is actually winning. Right now, if you were just to look at the Western Conference standings and look at the Kings in that 7th spot today and not do anything at the trade deadline, optics aren't good.
Not at all. We should also mention, with that trade that the Kings acquire Robin Lopez, plan to waive him. Someone tweeted, Robin Lopez said, thanks for all the memories with the Kings. Kings legend, once a king, always a king. Robin Lopez responded, I just hope it's enough to get my number in the rafters. I hope I left a legacy there.
I want him here now. I wish he was here. What a great dude. Funny dude.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, it's tough to explain. And, you just get to a point where you're like, how do you not get something done? That's what I'm left with today is like, was it that challenging to get a deal done? And now this is it. And now you're hoping that, all right, final 32 games, this team knows they're together. Let's go.
Yeah.
But like the offseason, let's be honest about it. Mm-hmm. The offseason wasn't good for Sacramento. Sasha has not panned out. I still think he can help this team and hopefully he gets some more minutes, but I think the expectation was he was going to be able to be a nice contributor for this team, a good reserve that brought something. I mean, you recruited him hard. You trade for Chris Duarte, took a chance on him, a couple of second rounders to get Duarte. You thought, all right, he's with Sabonis, change the scenery. He brings some toughness, can be a good defender. He knocks down some threes. He could help us. Non-factor.
Second rounders, those are the type of moves, though, that you were looking to try and see if you can see some success
swing and
there.
Miss.
Yep.
Then you make a couple of signings. You sign Nerlens Noel and Amias Queta to non-guaranteed deals. Then JaVale McGee becomes available. Once he becomes available, you hop on that. Mm-hmm. You let those guys, Noel and Queta, walk. Queta goes to Boston on a 2-way deal. and Noel's still out there as a free agent. But McGee has been beyond inconsistent. So we're going here. So the offseason moves have not panned out for the Sacramento Kings, and now this is the group, and I still feel like there are just so many questions about them. The starting five can still be very productive.
Sure.
They're one of the more efficient lineups in the league, but if you had hopes of getting out of the first round this year, I just don't see it, and that's okay.
It's totally okay, especially in this stacked Western Conference and a team. This would be their second year together trying to accomplish that, trying to get out of the second round of playoffs. But right now, where you're at and where all these teams are in this Western Conference, you're trying to stay up there so you're not screwing with the play-in. I mean, you do not want to screw with the play-in, especially with some of these teams, especially because we've seen how the Sacramento Kings can play so inconsistent. There's nights where they're playing out there and it's like, oh yeah, they could be any team in one and done. But there's other nights where they're losing to a 6-win Pistons squad and they're shooting lights out against them.
And I think the other point to the offseason is, look, as a GM, you're going to miss. Things aren't going to work out maybe as you plan, but it's how you pivot. The Suns.
That's a good point.
Look at the pivot.
They pivot.
Right? They signed Chimezie Metu on a minimum going, you know what? We saw what he did in Sacramento. He could probably help us. Okay, that's not enough. All right. Keith Bates-Diop. Can he help us? Keita Bates-Diop. Can he help us? Okay, we tried it. Not as impactful as we thought. They made a pivot. They took expiring deals, second-round picks, and went and got something that they think can help them now, and a veteran in Royce O'Neal, and then taking a chance on some size with David Roddy. Like, that's a great pivot. I mean, the Dallas Mavericks, look, they signed Grant Williams in free agency. On draft night, they traded for Rashawn Holmes. In their heads, I think they believe that Rashawn Holmes, with a change of scenery, getting out of Sacramento, could have helped them and be a kind of a nice in-between, nice backup to Derek Lively coming in as a rookie. Did not pan out. Grant Williams did not pan out the way they thought he would. He had a big game against the Kings, of course.
They asked him to do too much.
Sure.
They put him in a different role.
But what did Dallas do?
They pivot.
And that, they turned that in, and they had to give up a first-round pick, top 2, protected in 2027 to get P.J. Washington. But P.J. Washington should fit well with them. He could score. He's got good size, good length. Then you need a good backup that could protect the rim. Well, Daniel Gafford is that. And they got him today. So you make moves sometimes in the offseason that don't work out. It's about, all right, what's that next move? So the Kings made these moves in the offseason that did not pan out. There was no pivot made. And so now you've got teams behind you that look like they've improved. On top of that, the teams ahead of you it's daunting. So this is where the Kings are at. And my big takeaway after today is, I'm disappointed that they could not get anything done. It just seems impossible that you couldn't get anything.
Here's what I think. I mean, obviously, because I think if we could be in all of these rooms and have a little camera, it'd be so fun to see.
Sure.
And sometimes I'm curious if the Kings were going after bigger names like a Dorian Finney-Smith, bigger, whatever tier you want to put that in, Dorian Finney-Smith status, and they were asking too much, right? And it was too expensive. And so they're so focused on that as the trade deadline is going on, and then a deal's not getting done, and all these other little pieces are getting done, or tweaks are getting done around you with other teams in the Western Conference, that you've been focusing on this deal, trying to make it happen, thinking that you were going to get it done when really you couldn't even get that done. And how many times are we talking about just something not getting done? Where I'll say this too, because I said that one time to whether it was Mark Stein or whoever else, and they're like, well, if you look at this front office and Monty and Wes, and since their time being there, they've made, it was like over 15 trades or moves or whatever it may be. So they've been aggressive, and they're always talking about how they're aggressive on the phones, but it's just making it happen, though. How do you make it happen? And I get you don't want to get screwed over. You don't want to make a move out of fear, but how can you just make that tweak happen so this team can just pivot in a different direction, right? Pivot toward a different type of success, especially when you're not seeing some of these other moves pan out from the offseason.
I've also maintained that the big swing that they could probably take is next offseason. The first round pick that they owe Atlanta should convey. All right.
Yes.
Once that conveys, that gives you the flexibility to trade your future picks and be aggressive. And you've got some manageable salaries. That's the good news for Sacramento is like their contract situation, their cap is not a mess. They have their picks. They can do something in the offseason. It seems like every year there are multiple star players who become available. Can the Kings get in the mix? Now, with that said, OKC has more picks than anybody. The Utah Jazz got another first-round pick today. They've got a ton of picks. There's going to be competition. So that's the whole challenging part of this. And so, yeah, big picture-wise, the Kings' big swing was probably going to happen this coming off season. But I'm just really surprised they were not able to get something else done today.
Do you think
they needed some juice? They needed something
That's
different.
it. Is that why you're more disappointed? Because even last season, what my fear was at trade deadline when nothing was really done, it was other teams in the Western Conference getting better. What the Lakers were doing, I was worried about. What all these other teams, I was just like, I'm worried about them getting better. And the Kings are finally there. And now these teams are going to take a leap over them. That didn't end up happening. Hell yeah. Glad everything panned out that way. Tweaks were made in this offseason, like you talked about, and they're not panning out. And now you're seeing the other teams in the Western Conference with their moves not panning out. They are all pivoting. Kings did not pivot at this trade deadline. Do you think there's still a chance that, like, even if they don't have that juice, that they can find that juice within internally and like make a different type of push in this second half of the season, even though it's like game 51 coming up?
Yeah, I mean, they played better on that road trip. It's just
they played really well.
That's fine. But the last two games, they have not.
No.
One was to an elite team in the East.
Yep.
And one was to a dog shit team in the East. So, like,
the dog shit
this
team.
This is what this team has been. And look, expectations changes everyone's perspective. This year was never going to feel as good as last year because last year was a surprise. It was fun. Kings had the number one offense. And even though if they had warts, you didn't care because it was like, well, we're here. We're in the dance. Where this year felt like, can you take a step? Can you be better? We're bringing this group back with the idea that continuity is going to help the defense improve and that the offense will click more. And the offense won't even be an issue. We'll still be a top 5 offense. The offense has dipped, and everyone else's offense has gone up.
Yes.
You know, the Kings set the mark for the best offensive rating in NBA history. That gets blown apart every year. The year before that was Dallas. Then it was Sacramento. This year it's Indiana, Milwaukee. All these teams have surpassed Sacramento's record-setting offense of last year. So you bring that back, higher expectations. And on top of that, you know, let's be fair. Mike Brown was talking about like, hey, we have championship expectations. Okay. Well, they don't have a championship team. I didn't have those expectations. I never did. My thought is, could you get to the second round this year? That would be a good goal. It's hard to even see that right now.
Yeah.
So you bet on continuity. You bet on another year together. It'd be better. Sure, it could still work out. And to your point, maybe that magic's able to come back.
Yeah.
If you're looking at today from, all right, I'm trying to talk myself into this shit because they didn't make a deal and they got cash considerations. You're probably thinking, okay, everyone now knows they're safe. This is the team going forward.
Right.
We get the all-star break. We're feeling good, rested. Everyone's healthy. Hopefully Keegan can really take a jump. Hopefully they can get more consistency. Sasha's back and healthy. He can find a legit role in the rotation, and things could click again just like old times.
Do you think the Pascal stuff that was going on especially with the names being involved in Harrison Barnes, Kevin Huerter, and Davion Mitchell, do you think that's going to screw with them and their mentalities going forward? You know how that can like screw with the spark, the joy? And I get it's the business and you're like, hey, get that out of your mind. I totally get that. But do you think that's going to be something going forward? Or do you think that's something that they can like bottle up, shut it up, and like, let's effing go?
I think as an NBA player, it's probably distracting to see your name and rumors and all that stuff, but now it's over and you go play. That's what you can do. You can control. You have 32 games to go. And it's a fragile point, right? Like you got a tough schedule coming up here. after this Pistons game, right? You've got Denver on Friday. You go on the road to OKC. You've got Phoenix and Denver before the break. You played Denver 3 times this month. This month is really challenging, and then you have a ton of home games in March. So you hope that last night is the low point that you come out of and you wake up. But the problem I have is, like, I feel like there's been too many of those low points. Where I'm like, all right, come out and wake up. And that's
the time.
This has to be the time if you're going to make a move. You don't really want to be a play-in team. A 1-game play-in is just scary.
Especially in this conference.
Look, everyone's going to bring up, hey, look at what Miami did last year. They lost their first play-in game. They won the next, and they ended up going to the NBA Finals. Sure.
They've had their culture, though, for years.
That's unlikely. That's Miami. I feel like they always kind of coast in the regular season. Yeah, maybe this Kings team can somehow turn it on to the next 32 games, be red hot. Last year after the deadline, they turned it on. And I was critical last year where I'm like, God, I feel like they needed a move and they didn't get one, and everyone got better. I mean, remember last deadline where, like, the Clippers got Norm Powell.
Oh, yeah.
KD went to the Suns. Kyrie went to the Mavs. The Lakers got better. We're going, oh, my God, the Kings are just going to fall. And what are they going to be in a play-in? Well, the Kings ended up staying and being the number 3 seed. Yeah. So that was good. They played better basketball. Those other teams, whether the chemistry didn't work with some of those new moves or there were injuries, it just didn't click the same. And they were able to play some great basketball down the stretch and hang on and be the number 3 seed. Okay, I mean, I feel like that's you're hoping a little bit for that to happen again.
Yeah.
And that's where it's disappointing. You know, I just especially if you take on a playoff series, it's like, all right, you mentioned this earlier. You have to play the Clippers. If you get into the first round, you play the Clippers. Shit.
Oh,
you don't have the horses, right?
And on top of that, I mean, you look down the line too, and you go, what are some of these other teams going to get in the buyout markets? I mean, we talked about that in the beginning of this podcast. The Lakers, the Warriors, like, and what if you're facing them? And then they've also improved with some pieces in the buyout market, and their guys are healthy. This season feels like it could go 2 directions. It doesn't feel like it's going to be really in the middle where people are like, yeah, that's okay. It's going to either be that was disappointing or like, okay, glad we got there again. Glad we got that experience again. Still out in the first round of playoffs, but you know, like they got better as a team together, or their defense kept improving throughout the year. You know, now I have to look at, can they do those things internally with the squad that they have right now? I mean, we've seen this team get better throughout this season, especially like we just mentioned on that road trip. It's just those dips, those lows against some of the shittiest teams in the league are just really hard on everybody. It's not just like Kings fans and their morale. You can feel it around the team and everything when that happens.
There's been weird games, and they've struggled closing out teams too. It seems like how many times we talk about the Kings having a lead down the stretch and falling apart. The Milwaukee game, the Phoenix game when they're up 22 with 8 to play, the Dallas game that they hung on and won, but they should have wrapped that up. Chicago, they're up 30 in the third quarter. It gets whittled down to 3. They had to hang on, claw, and fight to win that game. And then even last night against the Pistons, you're down 15 in the third, you rally back, take the lead going into the fourth quarter, and then you get dominated down the stretch. It just seems like this is kind of who they are as a team this year. And to bank on them like figuring it out like they did last year seems to me like wishful thinking. Like, okay. Yeah. I mean, could it happen? Sure. But I don't know how you can predict that at this point. The West is rolling. Denver looks pretty damn good. The Clippers, after starting 0-5 with Harden, they're like 31-9 since then.
Yep.
Insane. OKC, that's a pretty talented team. I don't know if they're totally ready yet, but they're pretty good. And I think Hayward helps them a little bit. Minnesota, they've fallen a little bit here, but they're tough. The Suns, like, dude, this is going to be a challenge. It was going to be a challenge no matter what, but now this is it. This is your team. You're rolling with it. What's it going to look like? Man.
What a day.
Just a couple of notes Bobby Marks puts out there because this is something to follow with the buyout market. The following teams are ineligible to sign a player waived and had a pre-existing salary of $12.4 million plus. Golden State, Clippers, Boston, Phoenix, Milwaukee, Denver, Miami. So if any contract of a player who is making over that gets waived, those teams cannot sign them because of the luxury tax, the apron situation.
Okay. Something to look at.
Yeah. Maybe the Kings can do something on the buyout market. That
We'll see.
would be nice. But now they got to figure out a Denver team coming up on Friday. So overall, disappointed.
Overall, for me, I feel fine. But I also
how do you feel fine? How do you feel fine?
Because last year I felt like I was a little emotional about them not making any moves, and then it was like bit me in the ass. Like the entire year ended up being magical. I'm not trying to just lean on hope and like, can that happen again? No, but what I will say is because we saw that internal growth and leap last year, I'm more just seeing if this team could kind of have that again. Not end up being the 3 spot in the Western Conference, but truly being in that top 6. Can you be a playoff team? I don't feel very confident in it right now, but I didn't feel confident in it last year either. So like, what, where am I supposed to really be with my emotions and how I feel about them not making any moves today? I guess I'm going to do the whole sit on the fence, wait and see if this really was one of those things that didn't help them make the playoffs, or we're talking about them being in a play-in game because they were one of the only teams that didn't make a tweak in the Western Conference. And if we get there, then I can look back at this time and be like, oh yeah, actually changed my mind. Disappointed.
Yeah, it's just, for me, hard to figure out how you couldn't close. And we heard it. You talked to Mark Stein last night on the pregame show. Sam Amick, too, is reported like, hey, the Kings are aggressive. They're one of the more aggressive teams. I heard that in recent weeks from people outside Sacramento. Like, Kings are really aggressive out there. I just hate even hearing those reports now for me. I mean, I brought this up on our stream we did. It's kind of like what the San Francisco Giants have been doing over the years, where it's, hey, man, dude, they're in on Aaron Judge, man. They're going aggressive. Dude, aggressive on Ohtani. And then they end up not only not with Ohtani or Aaron Judge, but like nothing. Where you go, oh, here's some journeyman that like was injured last year who may be able to help if stays healthy. It's taking a swing at this one. It's just not a sexy move at all. And that's how I kind of feel right now is like, look, I wasn't saying you need to go out and get a Kuzma or some major deal, but when you see these other teams that are around you, go after guys that truly could have helped you. Like Royce O'Neal could have helped the Kings, PJ Washington.
2nd round picks too.
Could have helped the Kings in some regard.
Expensive.
Yeah, I mean, they probably wouldn't have been able to, they wouldn't have thrown a 2027 first like the Mavs did, top 2 protected. But my point is just those players specifically, right? So this is it. And now you got to roll with it. And you hope there's internal growth, there's internal improvement, and the chemistry clicks, and this team gets some of the magic they had last year. We just haven't seen it on a consistent basis.
Tradeless deadline. New song drops.
Go ahead.
A lyric drops right now. It's a tradeless deadline for the Sacramento Kings, and they didn't trade nobody today.
They got Robin Lopez.
They got Robin Lopez, but not Brooke Lopez.
And they're waving Robin.
And they're waving Robin, and they got some money.
Cash considerations. I think before we end, we got to just take some time and appreciate that Cash Considerations is back.
Oh.
It's back with the Kings. Been a part of the Kings multiple times over the years since like 07, 08.
You can't go wrong with Cash.
A vet,
truly.
You know what Cash can do?
Always. They make you richer in so many different ways.
Consistent.
Yep.
Consistent. You know what it's going to bring. And so, Friday when the Nuggets come to town and Scott Moak maybe introduces him coming off the bench. Cash considerations. Give some love.
And now, from
Ladies and gentlemen, checking in his 22nd stint with the Sacramento Kings, please give a warm Golden Wand Center welcome to Cash Considerations.
Cash comes out, everyone does the money, but then Cash Considerations, whenever they get on the court, they're dropping dimes. I mean, they are truly making sure to get everyone involved, making everyone better at all times on the floor. Not pennies, dropping dimes.
We laugh so we don't cry. Hey, let us know in the comments below. How are you feeling? Can the Kings turn it on? Are you one of the people that says they can get some magic going and turn this on internally? What do you think they should do on the buyout market? Can they be players there? And how are you feeling about them really doing nothing at the deadline? Let us know in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening to the audio version of this, you could also hit us up on social media at Deuce Mason, at Momo Reagan, or comment on our YouTube page, youtube.com/@Deuce and Mo. We'll have more coverage of the Kings trade deadline later on throughout the week ahead. There's a lot to break down. We love you guys so much, but we gots to go.
You all have a wonderful rest of your day. See ya!
Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know. Deuce and Mo.